Chapter 71. After Xing Xiao left, Mu Qiqi quickly got out of bed and tidied up the room, afraid that Su Zipei would notice that a man had been in the room. Fortunately, Su Zipei's mind was focused on that scumbag when she got home. She did not even notice if a man had been lying on the big bed in Mu Qiqi's room. When I went to visit your grandparents' graves, I heard that your scumbag uncle had appeared in your hometown not long ago. He's probably hiding somewhere in Jianchuan now. Su Zipei was really worried. If that scumbag went to the Mu family and let them know that Mu Qiqi was sponsored by Xing Xiao, the Mu family would never allow Mu Qiqi to stay in the small mansion no matter what. That scumbag likes gambling. I could ask his old friends. They might know where he is. Aunt, it's too dangerous. Xiao. Brother Jing has already sent Assistant Jing to investigate. Mu Qiqi comforted Su Zipei. I don't want to see you being bullied by him again. But, Aunt, if we find that scumbag, would you consider getting a divorce? Mu Qiqi asked Su Zipei. After all, she knew that the vice principal of Eton was keeping an eye on Su Zipei. It was not because of his background, but because she hoped that her aunt could find a home for the rest of her life, or at least not with that scumbag uncle. Su Zipei looked at Mu Qiqi and said nothing. After a long while, she nodded. I do have to get a divorce. But I'm not doing it so I can remarry. Aunt, anything is fine as long as you are happy. But not that scumbag. Let's find him first. I'll ask his friends. Su Zipei insisted. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. I'm just making a few calls. That was more like it. That was why Mu Qiqi did not stop her. In fact, that scumbag had secretly returned to Jianchuan, but he could not resist the urge to continue gambling. However, after entering the casino with great difficulty, he would lose all of his earnings very quickly. Now that he could not blackmail Su Zipei and Mu Qiqi, he could only turn his attention to the Mu family. Still, the Mu family was well aware of his gambling habit and would not answer his calls, much less meet him in private. Because of this scumbag had been observing the surroundings of the Mu family's villa for several days. But every time, he could only see the Mu family's car coming out of the villa. He never saw anyone from the Mu family. Seeing that he didn't even have enough money to eat, this man decided to stop the Mu family's car to blackmail them. Even a poor relative was still a relative. Wouldn't they give him some face? That was why he had been standing guard outside the Mu family's villa, watching the Mu family's cars coming in and out. When he finally saw Mu Tangxue and Mama Mu leaving, he fearlessly stepped forward, causing the driver to brake abruptly and startling the mother and daughter in the car. The driver hurriedly got out of the car, only to see the scumbag roll a few times and grab onto the car door. Sister-in-law, I'm here to see you, sister-in-law. Neither Mama Mu nor Mu Tangxue recognized the man at once, and had the chauffeur send him away. What kind of relatives are you talking about? Look at you, do you look like our madam's brother-in-law? Mama Mu looked at the man a few more times. She had already recognized him, but she did not want to admit that she knew this man. Mu Tangxue, on the other hand, reached out to open the door. Schwer. Mommy, that really is my uncle. That beggar is only here to ask for money. Why are you getting out of the car? Mama Mu held Mu Tangxue's hand. Still, Mu Tangxue wanted to know where her uncle had sold Mu Qiqi. She wanted to know the secrets that no one would know, and to get hold of Mu Qiqi's weakness. But that was when Jing Yun's men found their target and quickly went up to him, holding him up while telling the Mu family's chauffeur, "This man owes you money. He must be trying to blackmail you. We're looking for him too, trash." The Mu family's chauffeur cursed and returned to his car, leaving the house with Mu Tangxue and Mu Tangxue, completely unaware of the secret he had missed. Soon, Jing Yun brought the man to his and Su Zipei's house, and waited for Xing Xiao to deal with him. When Xing Xiao learned about it, he gave Su Zipei a call. When Su Zipei learned that the man had been captured, she brought the divorce papers to their old house. When she saw that the scumbag was unrepentant, she promptly put the papers in front of him. I've suffered a lot from you over the years. I had thought that I could endure it for the rest of my life, but I really didn't expect that you would sell Muchichi for money. The man was surprised to see that Su Zipei had become so beautiful and noble. Su Zipei, are you seeing someone else? I just want to divorce you. Su Zipei repeated. I won't. I won't let you have it easy even if I die. Su Zipei laughed self-deprecatingly. She really never realized that she had been so blind before. Do you still remember what young Master Xing said when you were chased out of Jianchuan? Su Zipei asked her husband. Now that you're back, don't blame me for not reminding you that your limbs might be cut off. The man was left dumbfounded at that. Young Master Xing knows? Who do you think caught you? Su Zipei asked him in return. You still want to go to the Mu family? What do you want to say to the Mu family? You've sold their daughter. Do you think the Mu family will care about you? Let me tell you, the Mu family has prepared a lawyer to catch you. You're lucky that they didn't recognize you today. Why don't you hide far away? Do you want to die? The man felt a chill down his spine when he heard that. Then what should I do now? Sign the divorce papers. Then, I have some money here. You can take it with you, but you must leave Jianchuan immediately. Su Zipei coaxed the man. This is your only way out now. The man was tied up, but he understood the severity of Su Zipei's words. But when he thought about it, Su Zipei was wearing gold and silver now. She might have already found herself a rich man. If he let Su Zipei go just like that, wouldn't he suffer a great loss? You'll be free if I leave, right? The man snorted. He would not let go even if he was tied up. No way. Unless you give me 1,000,000 yuan, I'll leave immediately. Su Zipei was shaking with anger. She really wanted to cut that bastard down with a knife to protect Muchichi. But Xing Xiao had told her that if she failed to persuade him, he would do it himself. She had no choice but to tell Xing Xiao the truth since she could not handle it now. When Xing Xiao received Su Zipei's call, his eyes flashed with cold flames. I have my ways to deal with scum. Chapter 72. Then, Xing Xiao asked Jing Yun to prepare a few things, and only drove to the slums when everything was ready. Meanwhile, Su Zipei was still trying to persuade the man, but Xing Xiao was not that patient. The door was opened, and the scumbag was still tied up on the chair. He was a little afraid when he saw Xing Xiao. Young Master Sheng, how have you been? You're quite bold. You don't even listen to me. Xing Xiao sat down on a clean chair and leaned against it. I heard that you want $1,000,000, he said to the scumbag. Xing Xiao had stood up for Muchichi before, but he was still poking his nose into her business. Wasn't the answer obvious? Xing Xiao had taken good care of Muchichi and Su Zipei. So, the scumbag mustered his courage and said, Young Master Sheng, Muchichi is already with you. Do you think it's too much for me to ask for $1,000,000? To you, it's just a drop in the bucket. Please be generous for once. Xing Xiao nodded. Since I'm in a good mood today, I'll give you a little. But I don't have $1,000,000, but I can give you $100,000. Do you want it? The scumbag wanted to bargain when he heard that it was only $100,000, but Xing Xiao cut him off. You won't have a single cent if you're greedy. The scumbag knew that Xing Xiao was not to be trifled with, and he just wanted to take the money and leave. It seemed that he had something on Xing Xiao, and he could come back to extort more from him. All right, 100,000 it is. Then, Jing Yun put the $100,000 in front of the scumbag. But before that, Xing Xiao had a condition. Sign here, and you won't come back to Beijing from now on. No problem. You're too generous, young Master Sheng. And the divorce agreement. Jing Yun put the letter of guarantee in front of the scumbag, and had Su Zipei put the divorce agreement in front of the scumbag, and untied him. But the scumbag only had eyes for the cash in front of him, and did not know what the letter of guarantee was. Although he was unwilling to sign the divorce agreement with Su Zipei, he could just deny it when he ran out of money. After signing, the man put the money into his pocket and praised Xing Xiao. "Thank you, young Master Sheng. You're the crown prince after all." Su Zipei watched the arrogant man leave. She did not understand why Xing Xiao gave the man 100,000 and encouraged him. "Young Master Sheng. I'm not the one who paid that 100,000 yuan. What that scumbag signed just now was not a letter of guarantee, but an IOU. It clearly stated the interest and the repayment date. As long as he doesn't take out 1 million yuan by tomorrow morning, I don't know what those debt collectors will do. Maybe they'll break his arms and legs?" Xing Xiao chuckled. He could not hide his excitement in his words. She abruptly understood Xing Xiao's intentions. The nose of a debt collector is sharper than that of a private detective. As long as he dares to stay in Jianchuan, he'll either have to pay back the money, or give up his life. As for the interest on the loan note, it would only snowball, and roll bigger and bigger. At that time, if this scum still dared to appear in Jianchuan, his name would be read backwards. Then don't worry. He won't die. With those words, Xing Xiao left the house. He knew what he was doing. That's good. I'm just afraid that for me and Mu Qiqi, take his life? I'm a proper businessman, Aunt Zipei. With those words, Xing Xiao led Su Zipei into the car and drove her back to the little mansion. Now that the scumbag was dealt with and the divorce papers were in hand, the two of them did not have to worry for the time being. Still, Su Zipei felt even more guilty. She felt that she and Mu Qiqi owed Xing Xiao more and more. Even if Xing Xiao only wanted Mu Qiqi from start to end, he still wanted her. Mu Qiqi had been worried until the two returned home. She quickly went up to them. "Aunt Zipei, how is it?" "Young Master Sheng, it's all settled." Su Zipei told Mu Qiqi. "And the divorce papers?" "That's good." Mu Qiqi reached out and hugged Su Zipei, before looking up at Xing Xiao. Although she did not know how Xing Xiao did it, she only felt that she was adding to his burden. Xing Xiao fixed his gaze on Mu Qiqi, his meaning clear. Mu Qiqi quickly let go of Su Zipei and said, "Aunt Zipei, it's good that you're fine. I left in a hurry last night and didn't have time to explain to Qianqian. I'll go look for her now. You should rest at home, go." Su Zipei's mood was very complicated. She held the divorce papers in her hand and needed to organize her thoughts. That was why she did not stop Mu Qiqi. "I'll send you there," Xing Xiao said. "Thank you, young Master Sheng." Su Zipei thanked Mu Qiqi on her behalf and watched them leave the house. Of course, going to look for Qianqian was just a pretense. Xing Xiao brought Mu Qiqi to their new home. With this secluded place, Xing Xiao did not have to bring Mu Qiqi to the revolving restaurant anymore. Once they entered the house, Xing Xiao picked Mu Qiqi up by the waist and put her on the dining table. Then, he kissed her fiercely. Mu Qiqi tried her best to respond, wanting to give him her whole heart, but no matter how crazy Xing Xiao was, he knew the severity of the situation. Before they had that thought, he left Mu Qiqi's lips. "Why? Are you still unhappy? I think I'm a burden to you. I don't want to cause trouble for you all day. I want to be useful to you." Mu Qiqi answered Xing Xiao seriously. "Do you think you're not useful enough for me?" Xing Xiao sneered. He grabbed her hand and put it on his body. His strong body hid the desire that was about to erupt. Mu Qiqi buried her head in Xing Xiao's chest. She could not help but raise her head and feel the man's Adam's apple with the tip of her tongue. Xing Xiao immediately pressed her down and spanked her little butt. "Do you want to die?" "Xiao Xiao, I can do it. With your current body, you can't endure my demand." After Xing Xiao was done, he helped her up and stared at her tearful eyes. "Or, can you go to college with a big belly?" Mu Qiqi did not think too much. She just felt that she did not want to disappoint Xing Xiao again. They were in a stalemate for a while. Then, Xing Xiao carried her down from the dining table. I'm hungry. I'm going to cook. I want to get used to the life of two people. Uncle, no, I mean, will that scum really not appear in my life and Aunt's life again? No. Xing Xiao answered with certainty. Chapter 73. One more question, Xiao Xiao. I don't know how to cook. Mu Qiqi looked at Xing Xiao helplessly. Do you? I'll make a bowl of noodles. Xing Xiao got up from the sofa, rummaged through the fridge and took out some ingredients. Mu Qiqi watched as Xing Xiao rolled up his sleeves and busied himself in the kitchen. She obediently stood beside him and helped him. It was as if a god was taking care of a rookie. Xing Xiao, on the other hand, was full of disdain. Although the noodles he made did not look good, Mu Qiqi still felt that it was enough. Because when the noodles were brought to the table, Xing Xiao said, "No one dares to let me cook, except you, little thing." Mu Qiqi took a bite and spat it out mercilessly. Xing Xiao immediately crossed his arms and glared at her coldly. Do you dare to spit it out again? Mu Qiqi thought about it and got down from her seat. She went to Xing Xiao's side and put some noodles in her mouth. She held Xing Xiao's handsome face, and before he could react, she had already put the noodles to his lips. Each of them ate half of it. Mu Qiqi's face turned red, and she smiled. This way, the noodles won't taste bad. Mu Qiqi, you're so naughty. Xing Xiao enjoyed Mu Qiqi's wholehearted care for him. No matter how bad the noodles tasted, there was a sweetness in his mouth. Isn't it because you taught me by example and taught me well? Xing Xiao hugged Mu Qiqi and pointed at the noodles in the bowl. Continue, like just now. It was just past midnight. Mu Qiqi's uncle came out of the casino and was stopped by 3 men in black. They asked him to return the money. The man was a little confused. But when he saw the axes in their hands, he quickly begged for mercy. No, gentlemen, I really don't owe you money. I never borrowed money. And you said you didn't borrow money? Then what is this? As he spoke, the man took out the IOU he had signed during the day. It's clearly written here that you have to return 1 million yuan after midnight. If you're late for 1 day, you have to pay 2 million yuan. If you don't have money to pay the debt, you have to use your limbs to pay the debt. What? It's in black and white. You signed it yourself. Are you going to deny it? When the man saw the note, he suddenly thought of the guarantee that Xing Xiao had asked him to sign. No wonder Xing Xiao was being so generous. He had set a trap for him to jump into. He borrowed 100,000 yuan, and now he had to pay back 1 million yuan. Seeing the other party's acts, the man was frightened out of his wits. He quickly begged for mercy. Everyone, I signed a letter of guarantee during the day, not a promissory note. It seems like you don't want to have 1 hand and 1 foot now. Let me tell you, as long as you're in Jianchuan, no matter where you are, we can find you. So, don't even think about denying it. Don't, gentlemen, how about this? Tomorrow morning, I will return the money to you. You have to allow me to collect. The man quickly appeased several debt collectors. Tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, we'll wait for you at the door. If you dare to run away, you'll spend the rest of your life in bed. With that, they left with their axes, while Mu Qiqi's uncle's legs turned to jelly. Although he knew that it was a trap, the scumbag knew that it would not benefit him to stay here any longer. He should run away now while he still had money in his pocket. That was why Xing Xiao received a call from Jingyun early the next morning. That scumbag has disappeared from Jianchuan without a trace. He left cleanly. Don't let him come back. With that, Xing Xiao hung up. After all, he would remove every factor that could threaten Mu Qiqi. Now, Su Zipei was free and had gotten the divorce papers. So, Mu Qiqi looked at her with a meaningful gaze. Aunt, you can bravely pursue your happiness now. Do you think I still have the mood to fall in love after what happened to that scumbag? I just want you to be successful. I'm not interested in anything else. Su Zipei replied. All right, let's take it slow. Mu Qiqi smiled. Although it was close to the new year, Muchichi would stay at home to receive all kinds of training when she did not go out. She did not dare to be negligent at all, because she was even more determined to excel after what happened to her uncle. Only then could she help Xiao Xiao as much as possible and not be a burden to him. And Xing Xiao did it. As he said before, Huang Yao would be busier during the new year because they would have to attend all kinds of banquets. Muchichi could even see him on TV sometimes. Of course, she could also see the women standing beside him. They would try to have some physical contact with Xing Xiao without a trace, but Xing Xiao would pretend that he did not see them. Even so, Su Zipei did not know about their relationship. Whenever she saw them on TV, she would tell Muchichi, "That girl is a good match for young Master Sheng. That actress and young Master Sheng are a perfect match." Muchichi could not help pulling a long face. Even so, she couldn't tell Zipei that Xing Xiao was hers and hers alone. And because Xing Xiao was busier than ever, Muchichi did not have the chance to see him during the New Year's Eve. Although she was busy with classes, she always wanted to text or call Xing Xiao when she had free time. But she was afraid that she would disturb his work. There had been no news from the Mu family for a long time. Perhaps, he had completely forgotten the existence of such a person. But she did not expect that Mu Tangxue was practicing her notes at home every day. Because it would make the exchange of papers more perfect. Mama Mu checked Mu Tangxue's homework every day. She was pleased when she saw that Muchichi's handwriting was gradually becoming like Muchichi's. Shwa, bear with it. You won't have to be afraid of your sister after the college entrance examination. Moreover, your father is already choosing a suitable husband for you. When the time comes, if you can marry him, it will be even more perfect. It was as if Mu Tangxue lived every day to be more dazzling than Muchichi. According to the blueprint Mama Mu had laid out for her, she even felt that she had left Muchichi far behind. How could she know that Muchichi already had a crown prince? And the victory that she wanted would probably never come to her in this lifetime. There were many guests at home as the New Year's Eve approached. The uncles especially would inevitably talk about Muchichi's grandmother's death. If Muchichi was still in the Mu family, she would not have been able to endure such scolding. Second brother, is there any news from Muchichi? Papa Mu's younger brother asked. How could I let her have a good life after she killed Mom? She's living a miserable life with her aunt. It's so hard, Papa Mu replied. That's good. You only have Tangxue now. You have to train her well and not make any mistakes. As for Muchichi, forget about her. She's a jinx. There was a time when Muchichi had a little hope for the Mu family. But now, Muchichi only wanted to be by Xing Xiao's side during the New Year's Eve. She really did not mind giving everything to Xing Xiao. Should she take the initiative? Chapter 74. Muchichi wanted to tell Qianqian about it so that she could give her some advice. So, they agreed to meet outside. Qianqian saw that Muchichi even had such thoughts. How much love did she have? Or perhaps it was because of her inferiority deep inside. Chichi, are you afraid that the crown prince will leave you? Qianqian asked Muchichi directly. You see, I'm living a good life now. But I have nothing except him. Muchichi said helplessly. Are you stupid? Qianqian nudged Muchichi's head. The crown prince hasn't done anything stupid yet. Do you think he's that kind of person? How much does he value you in his heart to fall in love with a half-developed high school student like you? Idiot, you really don't know how lucky you are. I'm just saying. I don't have the guts. Muchichi smiled at Qianqian. I'm actually very scared. Qianqian looked at Muchichi and put an arm around her shoulder. But as your best friend, of course I'll support you. But now is not the right time. How about I give you something? You can use it later. Then, Qianqian brought Muchichi to the lingerie section of the luxury store. Muchichi blushed at once. Qianqian, this one. Qianqian pointed at the lace lingerie on the shelf. Then, she called the salesperson over. Wrap it up for us. Qianqian, you really bought it. It's for you in college. Qianqian could not help but laugh. Chi-Chi, women like us rely on being exquisite. Men might not say it, but these will definitely give you extra points. With that, the salesperson wrapped the lingerie up and passed it to Qianqian. Qianqian then put it in Mu Chi-Chi's hand. Mu Chi-Chi was a little surprised. Qianqian was getting more and more aggressive. However, when they left, Mu Tangxue, who was trying on shoes, saw them. It was not strange to see them in a luxury store frequented by rich people. But the thing was, Mu Tangxue saw what Mu Chi-Chi was holding. Mama Mu was still trying on the clothes and did not notice Mu Chi-Chi and Qianqian. However, Mu Tangxue walked up to them and smiled as she asked the two of them who were waiting for the elevator, "Sis, you're holding something from that sexy lingerie store, aren't you? What does that have to do with you?" Mu Chi-Chi asked in return, clutching the bag tightly. "Although you're already with a man, you still have to be mindful of your shame. If others see it, they'll think that the daughter of the Mu family is promiscuous. Not only that, but she also turned towards the shoe cabinet and shouted, "Mommy, come out." Mama Mu came to them with her coat, and frowned when she saw Mu Tangxue and Mu Chi-Chi standing together. "Mommy, look at the thing in my sister's hand." Mama Mu was an adult after all, and naturally knew what Mu Chi-Chi was holding. Her expression changed and she said to Mu Chi-Chi, "How old are you? Aren't you shameless enough to buy these things?" Mu Chi-Chi glared at the mother and daughter, and turned to leave with Qianqian, only to be stopped by Mama Mu. "Leave the things here. What would it look like if someone saw you taking them out like that?" Mu Chi-Chi turned at Mama Mu's words and raised the bag in her hand. "We bought these with our own money. What does it have to do with you, Madam Mu? I'm not a member of the Mu family either, so don't lecture me." Mu Tangxue seized the chance and snatched the bag, taking out the lingerie set and showing it to Mama Mu. "Mommy, look." Qianqian's eyes were ablaze at once, but Mu Chi-Chi stepped forward and slapped Mu Tangxue's face, before snatching the bag and the other items from Mu Tangxue's hands. "Mrs. Mu, control your daughter. Don't do such a shameful thing regardless of the occasion." It was the first time Mama Mu saw Mu Chi-Chi hitting Mu Tangxue, and she was shaking with rage. "Mu Chi-Chi, how dare you hit someone? I'll hit Mu Tangxue if she dares to provoke me again. Perhaps you want to blow up Grandma's matter? I'll be there anytime, and my lawyer is always free. Just as long as you need it." With those words, Mu Chi-Chi turned and left with Qianqian, leaving Mama Mu screaming behind them. But that had nothing to do with her. Qianqian could feel that there was a deep misunderstanding between Mu Chi-Chi and the Mu family. And Mu Tangxue was the culprit. "Chi-Chi, I'm fine." Mu Chi-Chi shook her head to show that she did not mind. Moreover, slapping Mu Tangxue was a good deal no matter how one looked at it. It was supposed to be our little secret, but now Mu Tangxue is disgusting. Qianqian took the bag from Mu Chi-Chi's hand and threw it into the trash can. "I was just teasing you at first, and didn't really want you to use this to seduce the crown prince. I didn't expect such a huge misunderstanding. With Mu Tangxue stirring things up, I always have a motive no matter what I do. I'm used to it. And why did you throw it away? It's quite nice. Chi-Chi, it's not just this time. In the future, you have to fight back as hard as you can every single time. Some people are not worth wasting your breath on." Mu Chi-Chi knew that she had long since given up on communicating with the Mu family. Whenever Mu Tangxue provoked her, she would retaliate in any way she pleased. "Let's go. It's a pity that I wasted your kindness, although I don't need it now." "That's nothing." Qianqian winked at Mu Chi-Chi. "It's worth it to buy a slap." Behind them, Mama Mu called Su Zipei's phone with Mu Tangxue. "Mu Chi-Chi is buying all sorts of lingerie in the mall. Is that what you taught her? Seducing men at such a young age? Zipei, I've really underestimated you." "What nonsense are you talking about?" Su Zipei was really annoyed by the Mu family's calls every other day. I saw it with my own eyes. Mu Qiqi and her classmates were buying sexy lingerie in the mall. Su Zipei couldn't help snickering in disbelief. In your heart, everything Mu Qiqi does is wrong. She has the freedom to buy whatever she wants. Moreover, Mrs. Mu Qiqi is not under your control now. Don't change your number to call me again. We really don't want anything to do with the Mu family. But she hit Schwa, of course. Mu Tongxue deserves it. Chapter 75. But, since Mama Mu saw it, Mu Qiqi told Su Zipei the truth when she got home. Aunt Zipei, I bumped into the Mu family when I was shopping with Qianqian just now. I've already received a call. Su Zipei said calmly. She did not find it strange at all. Mu Qiqi was already an adult. Why couldn't she wear the clothes she liked? Qiqi, whatever you do is wrong in the eyes of the Mu family. So, you don't have to care about them. And, don't you think I did something I shouldn't have? Wearing nice lingerie? Is it wrong? Su Zipei could not understand. Girls would always want to try all sorts of things when they reach 18, and Mu Qiqi happened to be at that age. That was why she could understand how a girl would want to be attractive at that age. Aunt, thank you for believing in me unconditionally. Mu Qiqi felt very guilty about it. It's just a set of lingerie, but the Mu family is making a big deal out of it. Who knows what kind of tricks they would come up with in the future when you become more successful than Mu Tongxue. Su Zipei hugged Mu Qiqi. It's fine as long as you have a clear conscience. Mu Qiqi nodded. She went back to her room and lay on her bed, thinking tiredly. She could not disappoint her aunt, which was why she worked even harder in her studies. She would give everything she had to learn, and she could not give up on anything except Xingxiao. With Qianqian's consolation, Mu Qiqi believed that she should trust Xingxiao more and give herself more confidence. Of course, slapping Mu Tongxue occasionally was an important part of adjusting Mu Qiqi's mood. With that in mind, Mu Qiqi fell into a deep sleep. She woke up the next day and went shopping with Su Zipei. However, Mu Qiqi noticed a middle-aged man in a coat glancing in Su Zipei's direction from time to time. Mu Qiqi nudged her aunt's elbow and asked, "Isn't that our vice principal? I remember his surname is Liu. Aunt, do you really not like him?" "Don't worry, kid." Su Zipei was busy and ignored Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi smiled. Her intuition told her that the vice principal was a good person. On New Year's Eve, Mu Qiqi and Su Zipei stayed at home. Although there were only the two of them in the huge mansion, Mu Qiqi still lit the stove and sat with Su Zipei in front of it, drinking some wine. Because of her worries, Su Zipei soon got drunk and went back to her room to rest. Now, Mu Qiqi was left alone in the living room, humming a love song. At 11:30, Mu Qiqi's phone rang. Knowing that it was Xingxiao, she immediately rushed out of the door. Xingxiao had obviously come out from the banquet. He was wearing a suit and a bow tie. But no matter what, he would always remember that there was a little one waiting for him at home for the new year. So, he brought Mu Qiqi to the seaside. Although the sea breeze was strong, Mu Qiqi sat on him and the two of them were wrapped tightly together. Just wait for the 12 o'clock bell to ring, and beautiful fireworks will bloom everywhere in the sky. Xiao Xiao, I hope that time can pass faster so that I can grow up immediately. There were many couples around, and most of them were hugging each other. The atmosphere was very romantic. Then, Xingxiao suddenly said to her, "I'll grant you a wish. Can I promise you anything?" Mu Qiqi looked up and asked Xingxiao. "Yes." "Then, tell everyone around that I'm your girlfriend." Mu Qiqi made a wish. It was dark anyway, and no one would know her. Xingxiao received the wish and let go of Mu Qiqi. With a playful smile, he walked to a rock by the beach and stood on a high place. He said to everyone, "Hey, everyone here, that's my girlfriend. She said that she wants all of you to know that we are in a relationship, Xing Zhao's voice was loud and magnetic. Mu Qiqi was shocked. She quickly walked to him and threw herself into his arms. Xiao Xiao, you are for real. What if you get recognized? Xing Xiao hugged Mu Qiqi and stood on the rock together, letting the sea breeze blow. Do you think anyone standing here will pay attention to you? Mu Qiqi looked around. She blushed when she saw that there were couples kissing around. Xing Xiao chuckled and hugged Mu Qiqi tighter. He even pinched her chin. Let's join the big group too. Being with Xing Xiao was presumptuous and arrogant. At the same time, it was flamboyant. Mu Qiqi slowly let go of her fear. She could also feel the fragrance of red wine in Xing Xiao's mouth. It intoxicated her. Then, Xing Xiao took out the key from his pocket and handed it to Mu Qiqi. New Year's gift, this. Mu Qiqi reached out to take it. The key to our house. Our key. Now, the only thing left was for the mistress to enter the house. There was less than half a year left. Mu Qiqi held the key in her palm. Because it represented her life from now on, then, Mu Qiqi told Xing Xiao about what happened in the mall yesterday. After Xing Xiao heard it, he smiled teasingly. I won't touch you even if you have a sexy body. Don't regret it when it's time. Mu Qiqi buried her head in Xing Xiao's arms. Surrounded by the ocean, they happily celebrated the new year together. Soon, the third year of high school started. Old Lin returned to the small mansion and drove Mu Qiqi to school. When she arrived at Eton, Mu Qiqi saw Mu Tongxue, who was even more arrogant. But no matter how arrogant she was, she still got slapped in the mall. In fact, Mu Qiqi did not know that Mu Tongxue's arrogance was because she was scheming against Mu Qiqi's college entrance examination results. Now, she was practicing Mu Qiqi's notes. It was already 70% similar. She just had to wait for Mu Qiqi to do well in her exams. After all, the better the results, the happier she would be. Of course, Mu Qiqi could not see Mu Tongxue's despicable nature. She even coveted her college entrance examination results. Still, she did not have time to care about Mu Tongxue now. She was too busy as a student representative. She had even less time after school. She had to worry about Su Zipei's life and date Xiao Xiao. As for Xing Xiao, he would move out of the Xing family after the new year. He kept his promise and moved to the place Mama Xing had arranged for him. Of course, Jing Yun would move with him. Although he preferred to be alone. Young master, when are you moving to Xingting University? Before the college entrance examination in July. Xing Xiao said. So, we can only live together for the next few months. Chapter 76. In the last 4 months, Mu Qiqi focused all her attention on her college entrance examination. She was always in the top 5 in every mock exam. Her results were enough for her to get into any university in the country. Mu Tongxue's results were better than the average students. But compared to Mu Qiqi, she was only in the top 30 in the country. Although she was not convinced, no matter how hard Mu Tongxue tried, she could never surpass Mu Qiqi's overall results. It was because Mu Qiqi was really good at science subjects. She would never deduct points if she could get full marks in the subject. The school had high hopes for Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi never slacked off because she wanted to achieve the goal Xing Xiao set for her. She wanted to get into the best major in Xingting University. Although she was busy with her studies, Mu Qiqi and Xing Xiao never stopped dating at night. Especially after Xing Xiao moved, he would sometimes accompany Mu Qiqi through the night. He would only send Mu Qiqi back to the small mansion the next day. And Jing Yun was the best protection between the two of them. Mama Sheng would sometimes attack the mansion. And Xing Xiao would go home immediately with a call from Jing Yun. The vice principal of Eton had looked for Su Zipei a few times. But he could not find anything. Su Zipei seemed to be very stubborn in this aspect. Or maybe it was because Mu Qiqi did not take the college entrance examination. She could not stop worrying. Because of that, Muchichi felt that the burden on her shoulders was heavier. Because she was not only carrying the hope of her life, but also her aunt's future. Now, there were only 10 days left before the college entrance examination. That night, Muchichi and Xing Xiao stayed in their new home. Xing Xiao hugged Muchichi and urged her to study. But Muchichi was not in the mood. Because she could feel Xing Xiao's warmth on her back. Xing Xiao saw that she was not paying attention. She was still reading the same page after 10 minutes. So, he let go of her and went to the bedroom. Go back to the bedroom and sleep when you are done reading. I won't wait for anyone. In the past few months, they had gotten used to lying on the same bed. Although it was torturous every time. Muchichi hurriedly concentrated and maintained her concentration. She made sure that she read the information over and over again a few times before tiptoeing into the bedroom. There was no light in the room for her, but there was a man lying on the bed. Muchichi approached the big bed, intending to check if he was asleep. However, he suddenly reached out to grab her with his long arm and pressed her under his body. This time, he was wearing a black nightgown. Due to his intense movements, the nightgown had long been disheveled, revealing a large portion of his back and long legs. Muchichi's heart raced, and she began to stutter. What's wrong? 10 more days. With that, Xing Xiao leaned down and bit her neck. Muchichi almost screamed, but Xing Xiao had already let go of her. What a little thing. Muchichi puffed out her chest. I'm not young anymore. Xing Xiao clenched his fist and frowned in disdain. Not small? As if struck by lightning, Muchichi froze on the bed. Then, Xing Xiao took off her top and hugged her smooth body. Then, as if he was playing a prank, he left his mark on her body. Muchichi had never been treated like this before. She felt that Xing Xiao seemed to have gone crazy that night. Then, Xing Xiao used his long fingers to take off her trousers. Then, he hugged her body and turned them over, wrapping them under the blanket. Then, there was no then. Under the blanket, Muchichi did not dare to move at all. She let Xing Xiao hug her tightly, their bodies pressed against each other, their skin, their breath, and their temperature all fused together at that moment. It made Muchichi's head spin and she felt extremely dizzy. Was she Xiao Xiao's woman now? Perhaps because he felt her body stiffen, Xing Xiao suddenly opened his eyes and revealed a playful smile. He looked at Muchichi intently. Haven't you seen everything already? When did I? That day at the clinic, you took off my trousers. You still don't admit it? Huh? I had no choice. Muchichi quickly tried to defend herself. You have to take responsibility even if you had no choice. After saying that, Xing Xiao adjusted himself to a comfortable position so that Muchichi could sleep comfortably in his arms. There are still 10 days before the college entrance examination. So, I'll let you taste the sweetness. Muchichi suddenly smiled. Was Xiao Xiao sacrificing himself to urge her to study? Xiao Xiao, you don't have to do this. I will study hard too. I know. Xing Xiao answered Muchichi in the dark. Because he could feel Muchichi's expression all the time. She looked like she wanted to eat him up. If that was not love, then what was it? In the long night, Xing Xiao suddenly reached out and touched Muchichi's back to check if there were any gaps in the blanket. Muchichi saw that he did not even open his eyes. She knew that it was his subconscious action. Her eyes instantly turned red. Actually, because they were going on a date at the small mansion, they could only sleep for a short 4 to 5 hours a day. Muchichi had to return to the small mansion before Su Zipei woke up. Xing Xiao did not have to wake up so early. But because he had to send Muchichi home, he unknowingly developed the habit of sleeping early and waking up early. But what was Mu Tangxue doing at the moment? Mama Mu had already worked hard on the invigilator. She had also successfully contacted the teacher who was in charge of compiling the exam papers. She met the teacher in private and very considerately gave him a check for $3 million. She could get $3 million by swapping the papers of the two sisters. It was a big risk, but it was worth the risk. Mama Mu had arranged everything. Mu Tongxue needed Mu Qiqi's excellent results. That way, both mother and daughter would have a high status in the Mu family. Moreover, Mu Qiqi was sponsored by someone. So what if she did worse? Mama Mu did not think that it was Mu Qiqi's life at all. She only thought that it was the fastest way to achieve her goal. Mu Tongxue had practiced Mu Qiqi's handwriting in private. She had already gotten the hang of it. With Mama Mu's help, Mu Tongxue had reason to believe that Mu Qiqi's results would be hers. There was no escaping it. Of course, she didn't know that this exchange would cause the status of the two of them to undergo an earth-shattering change. At least, Xing Xiao could not tolerate her. There was a 3-day holiday before the exams. Mu Qiqi bid farewell to her classmates in those 3 days. She held a graduation party and took pictures with her classmates. Chapter 77. At the graduation party, Qianqian drank a little. She leaned on Mu Qiqi and kept asking her, "Have you ever thought about what you will do after you get into Xingting University?" "No." "Have you ever thought about going back to the Mu family one day?" Qianqian continued to ask. "Never thought about it either." "Have you ever thought about when you will go public with the crown prince?" "I still haven't thought about it," Mu Qiqi answered honestly. "Why haven't you thought about anything?" "You must have a goal to achieve." In Mu Qiqi's heart, the thing she wanted to do the most was to make the Mu family look at her differently. She wanted everyone to know what kind of person Mu Tongxue was. Until now, this wish had never wavered. As for her relationship with Xing Xiao, she knew that it would be difficult. But no matter what, as a university student, she had more say than a high school student. So, she did not know when she would go public with her relationship with Xing Xiao. But at least, it was not now. "You have not slept with the crown prince?" "Qianqian, you are drunk." Mu Qiqi was afraid that her words would be heard by others. So, she quickly helped her to sleep. Not long after, Duan Shao appeared at their graduation party. Everyone screamed when they saw this handsome guy. But, his eyes only fell on Qianqian. Although he showed an expression that said she was so troublesome, Mu Qiqi could see that Duan Shao only had Qianqian in his heart. "Give her to me." Duan Shao stretched out his hand to Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi nodded and pushed Qianqian to him. Duan Shao hugged Qianqian and left in front of everyone. But, before he left, he wished Mu Qiqi well. "I wish you success in your college entrance examination." "Thank you." Like the others, Mu Qiqi was envious that Duan Shao could leave with Qianqian so openly. Because Xing Xiao would never appear in such a public place, let alone take her away in front of so many people. "Hey, Qiqi, do you have a boyfriend? What about the man you wrote in your diary? Isn't he from our university?" A classmate turned to ask her. "I don't have a boyfriend." Mu Qiqi answered guiltily. "How can you not be with him? Do you know how many people in our class like you?" Mu Qiqi wasn't aware of that, because all her attention was on Xing Xiao. "Forget it. Since I'm graduating, I think I might as well do a good deed." After that, the student stood up and said to the whole class, "Everyone, please sit down. I didn't know that Qiqi didn't have a boyfriend all this time. Those who have been hiding it for a long time, if you can't hold it in any longer, you can try confessing." Mu Qiqi froze. She thought he was joking, but when the graduation party ended, she was really stopped by a boy from her class. "This is for you." Mu Qiqi looked as if she had seen a hot potato. She did not know whether she should take it or not. However, the boy stuffed it directly into her school bag without waiting for her to refuse. In the dark, she couldn't even call out the boy's name, although they had been in the same class for almost a year. Late at night, old Lin came to pick Mu Qiqi up. He saw Mu Qiqi taking out the love letter from her bag. She did not even look at it. She wanted to throw it away, but old Lin smiled. No matter what, it's someone else's love. It's not good to tear it or throw it away. It would be terrible if Xing Xiao saw it. Still, Mu Qiqi did not throw it away in front of old Lin. Instead, she put it back in her bag and tucked it in her revision materials. She did not expect that Xing Xiao did not let her sneak out that night. Instead, he openly came to the little mansion and wanted to have dinner with her and Su Zipei. Old Lin, the blabbermouth, told Su Zipei about the love letter as gossip. Miss Qiqi is very popular. There are even boys who give her love letters. Mu Qiqi did not know what Xing Xiao's expression would be when he heard that. She tried to change the topic. I'm hungry, Aunt Zipei. But Su Zipei smiled and replied to old Lin, school romance always makes one's heart flutter. Isn't that so? Mu Qiqi could only lower her head and return to her room when she saw that she could not stop them. I'm going to change. But soon, Xing Xiao entered her room and pressed her against the wall for a deep kiss. Someone else confessed to you? Aren't you afraid Aunt Zipei would see it? Where's the love letter? I'd like to see which idiot has taken a fancy to my little one. Xing Xiao snatched Mu Qiqi's bag and found the love letter tucked between the books. That's right. Mu Qiqi smiled. Mu Qiqi glared at him, but could not snatch it back from his hands. I'm confiscating it. I'm keeping myself chaste for you, but you're out flirting. When did I flirt? Mu Qiqi defended herself, feeling wronged. You're mine. Xing Xiao moved closer to Mu Qiqi and said those words, but Su Zipei called out to them. Qiqi, young Master Sheng, come down for dinner. Does Aunt Zipei know you're here? I said you're asking me for math questions. With those words, Xing Xiao put the love letter in his pocket and walked out of Mu Qiqi's room first. Did those half-male animals who didn't even have their pubic hair write her love letter because they were studying in university and could pursue her without restraint? He was quite courageous. Mu Qiqi obediently followed behind Xing Xiao. Soon, it would only be a few days, and she could finally be with Xing Xiao for real, living together in the villa. You have exams tomorrow. Sleep early tonight. Su Zipei could not help reminding Mu Qiqi during dinner. Look, young Master Sheng is even coming to cheer you on just for you. Do your best. Xing Xiao looked at Mu Qiqi and told her seriously. I will. After all, she had promised him a future for both of them. It had been a long time since Su Zipei saw Xing Xiao, and she kept him company. In fact, he and Mu Qiqi met every night. But Xing Xiao did not put on airs like a crown prince and never looked down on Su Zipei. In fact, he knew that he could not meet Mu Qiqi in her new home tonight, and so wanted to spend more time with her. Mu Qiqi slept soundly that night. She hugged herself and tried hard to remember the way Xing Xiao hugged her, so that she could sleep soundly. The next morning, she brought the tools for the exam and confidently went to the exam hall. But before the exam, she and Mu Tangxue passed each other in the corridor. They were in different classes, and naturally in different exam rooms. Chapter 78. At that moment, Mu Qiqi could not understand how disgusting Mu Tangxue was. Her kindness had limited her imagination. But she did not know that some people were like maggots in this world. They hid in the darkest corner just to devour your body to strengthen themselves. The 3-day exam might not be as difficult as the usual mock exam for Mu Qiqi. That was why she was very confident when she walked out of the exam hall. Seeing that she was happy, old Lin said, You must be very satisfied with your results, Miss Mu Qiqi. It's not bad because I've done most of the questions before, Mu Qiqi replied. That's good. Miss Su, you'll be relieved. Mu Qiqi nodded. She might not be the best, but she would at least be able to keep up with her usual results. That was why she told Xing Xiao that. The first thing she did when she walked out of the exam hall was to call Xing Xiao. Although Xing Xiao could not listen to her carefully, he still said, Congratulations. Because Xing Xiao never doubted Muqiqi's ability. Although Su Zipei did not know how confident Muqiqi was, the vice principal of Eton had paid attention to Muqiqi's exam papers during the exam because he was pursuing Su Zipei. He was very satisfied with her answers, and finally found a topic that Su Zipei did not dislike. Everything seemed to be going well. On the other hand, the first thing Mu Tangxue did when she got home was to ask Mama Mu about exchanging the exam papers. She was only relieved when Mama Mu gave her an okay sign. Judging from Muqiqi's arrogance, she probably did not know that she would fail the exam. Papa Mu asked Mu Tangxue about her results as well. She pretended to be low-key. I tried my best, Dad. Papa Mu did not say anything even though the results were not out. He put his arm around Mu Tangxue's shoulder and said, "It's fine as long as you tried your best. Are you confident that you can beat Muqiqi?" Mu Tangxue was stunned for a moment. Then, she nodded. "I won't let you down, Dad." "Good. You're my good daughter." Papa Mu was very happy. He hugged Mu Tangxue and swayed her from side to side. From Papa Mu's point of view, Muqiqi was no longer a member of the Mu family since she left the Mu family. If Mu Tangxue couldn't even pass that troublemaker, Muqiqi, he would lose face. Mu Tangxue's answer meant that she had a card up her sleeve. In that case, let's wait for the college entrance examination results to be announced. Mu Tangxue's recommendation did not go through because Xingting had blocked it. But this time, Mu Tangxue boldly filled in the best major in Xingting University as her first choice. In other words, she wanted to completely replace Muqiqi. Muqiqi also filled in the major that Xing Xiao had chosen for her. She had worked hard for too long for this goal. On the morning of June 25th, the National College Entrance Examination results were publicly available. Muqiqi sat nervously in front of the computer and entered her student number and ID number. But when the score appeared on the screen, it was very different from what she had imagined. Su Zipei saw the change in Muqiqi's expression and quickly went up to her. 598. Muqiqi had never gotten such a low score even if she randomly took the exam. "Qiqi, did you make a mistake? Why don't you check again?" Su Zipei asked Muqiqi. Muqiqi was patient and checked again. But the result was still the same. "It's impossible. I have calculated it conservatively. Even if I include the questions that I'm not confident in, it should be around 720. Qiqi, don't worry. With this score, you can't get into the best major in Xingting University." Muqiqi closed her eyes in despair. But at this moment, she did not think about other reasons at all. Soon, Xing Xiao received a call from Su Zipei. "Young Master Sheng, can I trouble you to persuade Qiqi?" "What happened?" Xing Xiao asked immediately. "The college entrance examination results will be announced today." But Qiqi, Xing Xiao could guess what was going on. So, he said to Su Zipei, "I'll come over later." After hanging up, Xing Xiao turned to Jing Yun and said, "Go and check Qiqi's results." Everyone in Eton had high hopes for Muqiqi. But unexpectedly, her score was mediocre after the results were announced. Another thing that shocked everyone was Mu Tangxue. She actually got the third place in the entire country and the first place in Eton. Did the two sisters swap places during the exam? If it was just Muqiqi's low score, everyone would think that Muqiqi did not perform well in the exam. But Mu Tangxue, who usually could not even get into the top 30, suddenly got the third place in the entire country. Such an extraordinary performance was really suspicious. Qianqian went to the university to check the results. When she heard about the two things, she immediately called Muqiqi. "Qiqi, what's going on with your results?" "I don't know." Muqiqi stayed in her room. She felt helpless. Why did White Lotus Mu get the third place in the country? Muqiqi quickly got up from the bed. "Did you say that Mu Tangxue got the third place in the country?" "Yeah. The university is in an uproar." "What's going on? How many marks did she get?" 724. Mu Qiqi's heart skipped a beat, and she understood at once. Qianqian, you might not believe me, but I expected her to get around 720. Qianqian was taken aback. I know what you mean. But it's the strictest exam. How could White Lotus Mu do it? Qianqian, I have to get to the bottom of this first. All right. We'll talk later. Qianqian hung up. Meanwhile, Xing Xiao had also received news from Jingyun that Mu Qiqi and Mu Tangshue's results had taken a complete reversal. That was why Xing Xiao went to the little mansion as promised in the afternoon. Mu Qiqi quickly went to Xing Xiao when she saw him, almost in tears. Xiao Xiao, if Mu Tangshue's results were as I expected, it should have been mine. Xing Xiao hugged Mu Qiqi and comforted her. I won't let her get away with this easily. Mu Tangxue would even steal my results. How shameless is she? Then we'll turn her world upside down. But, isn't it settled now that the results are announced? Mu Qiqi was afraid that the matter would be left unsettled. I've already asked Jingyun to investigate the relevant personnel in the school and gather evidence. If Mu Tangxue really stole your results, I'll make her spit it out. I'll ruin her reputation even if the results can't be changed. Xiao Xiao, Xing Xiao hugged Mu Qiqi, his heart aching for the little one. Was there even a need to say how despicable the Mu family was? Even funnier, the Mu family was still celebrating Mu Tangshue's results. Chapter 79. The vice principal of Eton was shocked when he heard about Mu Qiqi's results. He had seen most of Mu Qiqi's exam answers and they were definitely not like this. Moreover, Mu Qiqi was good at science subjects. But now that the results were out, it was obvious that she was at a disadvantage in science subjects. Was this Mu Qiqi's result? Obviously not. So, he was thinking about whether Mu Tangxue and Mu Qiqi's results were tampered with when they took back the exam papers. With this thought in mind, the vice principal, Lu Wenhua, went to the small mansion personally. Su Zipei thought that Lu Wenhua was looking for her. She wanted to reject him, but Lu Wenhua told her, I have seen Mu Qiqi's exam papers. Her score is definitely higher than this. Su Zipei was touched. She could only let Lu Wenhua into the small mansion. Mu Qiqi was still calm. But, when she thought of Mu Tangxue, she felt hatred in her heart. Qiqi, things are not clear yet. So, you can't be flustered. I've seen your exam paper, and it's indeed not this score. But, we need evidence. We need to figure out which part of the problem went wrong. That's right, Qiqi said. Also, 598 marks. Although it is not as high as 724 marks, it is higher than the admission requirement. But, I have a suggestion for you. The Forensic Science Department of Xingting University is not any worse than the Engineering Department of Xingting University. Every year, there will be a second admission. But, because of the special nature of the profession, there are always not enough people. It is called the make-up. If you have the courage to choose, forensic science is also a cool profession. Of course, it is just a suggestion. We must not let the bad guys get what they want. At the same time, we must pull ourselves together. After all, an outstanding person will shine no matter what position they are in. And, the despicable people will be despised by the world. Mu Qiqi finally raised her head after hearing Lu Wenhua's suggestion. Her eyes were filled with tears. Because Lu Wenhua was right. Thank you, Principal Lu. I will help you. Justice will also help you. Don't worry. The bad guys will pay the price. Su Zipei was standing behind the two of them. After hearing what Lu Wenhua said, she was touched. Actually, she knew that this man was different from the scumbag before. He was honest and kind. She just did not dare to try it again. Then, Lu Wenhua left the villa and let Mu Qiqi think about it herself. Of course, the most important thing now was to figure out when Mu Tangxue had swapped her exam papers. As for the forensic science faculty, she had to consider it carefully. At this time, Su Zipei looked at Mu Qiqi with a pained expression. She had worked so hard for a year, but she did not expect that her results would be stolen so easily. On the other hand, Mu Qiqi seemed to have grown up a lot overnight. Her mental endurance seemed to have been greatly expanded. Because she knew that being depressed now would not change anything. Her greatest goal now was to make Mu Tangxue pay the price. In fact, there were quite a lot of rumors in school. After all, it was understandable that Mu Qiqi performed poorly in exams, but Mu Tangxue's performance was extraordinary. It was unbelievable. Moreover, the two sisters had always had a grudge against each other. Now, their results had changed dramatically. That was why Mu Tangxue's true results were being questioned. Mu Tangxue probably did not expect Mu Qiqi to do so well in the exams, did she? Third in the country, first in Eton. Even if she used all her skills, she would not be able to wear such a hat, nor would she be able to withstand such doubts. That was why Mu Tangxue was nervous even as she was praised. Because it was too obvious, but the Mu family had taken turns to praise her. She could not back down now. Moreover, who could prove that her results were Mu Qiqi's? As long as she insisted on it, it would be useless no matter how many doubts there were. Everything was settled. Even if Mu Qiqi wanted to fight back, there was nothing she could do. Schwaber, you did so well this time. Grandpa has rewarded you too. He has transferred 5% of Mu Group's shares to your name. Shouldn't you thank Grandpa? Mu Tangxue took the phone from Mama Mu and thanked her grandpa. Because she knew what 5% of shares meant. No matter what, the results had brought her too many benefits. Even if Mu Qiqi wanted to fight to the death, she would not give in. It was her result. It was hers. Late at night, Xing Xiao brought Mu Qiqi to her new home as usual. However, there was no joy on her face. Xing Xiao knew very well what this little one had gone through. He felt sorry for her too. So, he carried Mu Qiqi to the bedroom and put her on the bed. Then, he said, Jing Yun has found out who was the teacher who collected the papers. But now, Mu Qiqi's total score is 598. Xiao Xiao, I can't get into the best department and become your junior. Mu Qiqi's tears flowed out of her eyes after she said that. But she stubbornly wiped them away. Do you really have to enter that department? Did I say that? But that's my goal. It's what I've been working towards. Your goal is me, silly. Can't you see the future clearly with me around? Then, Xing Xiao kissed Mu Qiqi on her lips. Lu Wenhua came. I know. He's really looking out for you. You can accept him as your uncle. I can't accept it. It's impossible for Mu Tangxue to enter Enchanting University. Don't even think about it. Xing Xiao told her the answer firmly. I will make sure that she will never be able to enter Enchanting University in this life or in the next life. Little one, let those people be proud of themselves and laugh at them. In the end, she will know what it feels like to fall from heaven to hell. She dares to bully my woman. I will let her know what it feels like to be in a state where she can neither live nor die. Then, Xing Xiao kissed Mu Qiqi hard. He used all his strength to comfort her broken heart. When did the crown prince ever try to please others? Now, he was doing it. Because he knew very well how important this little one was to him. Mu Qiqi trusted Xing Xiao. So, she could not sleep for a few days. Finally, she fell asleep under his comfort. Then, Xing Xiao got up and rushed to the Lu family. It was because he had promised Lu Wenhua that they would work together to investigate the cause and effect of this incident. Young Master Sheng, we need to start from these aspects. First, we need to check if the teacher who was in charge of receiving and distributing the exam papers was bribed. Second, we need to get Mu Qiqi's exam papers and Mu Tangxue's notes to verify them. But, after the exam papers are marked, they will be stored and destroyed. So, this is not a good idea. As long as we get the evidence, although Mu Tangshue's results are already set in stone, we can avenge her. At least, we cannot let Mu Tangshue's scheme succeed. Chapter 80. Ever since Mu Tangxue stole her results, Mu Qiqi had become much quieter. She did not smile at all. Su Zipei was very anxious. Qiqi, just tell me what's wrong. Don't keep it in your heart. I feel so sad when I see you being so quiet. Su Zipei could not help but comfort Mu Qiqi. The Mu family is really despicable. How could they steal our results? If I could kill Mu Tangxue, I really want to end all my troubles. But, I can't become like Mu Tangxue. Aunt, I am fine. Don't worry. Mu Qiqi looked at Su Zipei and forced a smile. Why don't you go out with Qianqian for a few days? Mu Qiqi did not have the mood to play now. Mu Tangxue had snatched her results, which was equivalent to snatching her life and future. How could she go out and have fun at a time like this? She will go to my place these 2 days. Sheng Xiao suddenly appeared in the small villa. He said to Su Zipei and Mu Qiqi, I am working with Principal Lu to investigate the exam papers. I need her cooperation. Sheng Xiao's reason was reasonable. Su Zipei was not worried. All right, young Master Sheng. I will have to trouble you for the next few days. Mu Qiqi was not as excited as she used to be now that she could live in her new home openly. She became very calm and did not like to talk. Lu Wenhua and I have already asked the teacher who was in charge of you and Mu Tangshue's exam room. It is not the right time to take action yet. We need to get the results of your notes first. Didn't you say that the exam papers will be destroyed in the future? Mu Qiqi asked Sheng Xiao. The secret room was stolen once in a while. We don't have enough evidence. So, the higher-ups can't do anything about it. Sheng Xiao answered her directly. The exam papers are in the appraisal office now. So soon. Every time Mu Tangxue laughs, it's a heart-wrenching pain for you. Do you think I would drag it out for long? Sheng Xiao asked in return. Mu Tangxue would only suffer worse when she sees you like this. Xiao Xiao, I have thought about what Uncle Lu said. I don't have the energy to study for another year and I don't want to miss the chance to enter Enchanting University. So, I can really enter the forensic science faculty. I'll let Mu Tangxue know that I can shine just as brightly as her results. It's just that I couldn't become your junior sister as I wished. I'm very sorry. Idiot, as long as you enter Enchanting University, you will still be my junior. Moreover, you will be my woman. What's so important about a junior? Sheng Xiao drove the car into the parking lot of the new house and carried Mu Qiqi into the living room. One more thing. The Mu family is planning to hold a banquet to celebrate Mu Tangshue's college entrance examination. What do you think? When? After I get the admission letter from Enchanting University. Then I'll have to congratulate him personally. Mu Qiqi laughed self-deprecatingly. Before that, I'll prepare the testimonies of the 2 witnesses and the results of the test. You'll have to give Mu Tangxue a huge gift then. At that, Mu Qiqi wrapped her arms around his neck and buried her face in his neck. After that, Lu Wenhua went to the small villa again. But this time, Mu Qiqi was not there. Su Zipei did not avoid Lu Wenhua like before. Instead, she asked him about the progress of the investigation. Zipei, don't worry. Young Master Sheng and I have planned everything carefully. So, the truth will come to light sooner or later. But, you and Mu Tangxue must be mentally prepared. Because even if we can prove that Mu Tangxue switched Mu Tangshue's exam papers, the 724 marks will not belong to Mu Tangxue anymore. Because no one can guarantee that the exam papers were not tampered with. The only way is to let Mu Tangxue take the college entrance examination again. The Mu family is too cruel. After hearing Lu Wenhua's words, Su Zipei could not help but cry. To them, destroying a person is just a whim. It's just a decision they make on a whim. Don't worry. We'll get justice for Mu Tangxue. Then, can't Mu Tangxue get into the best university? I've told you before that forensic science is the most important university for Mu Tangxue. The education department will not recognize Mu Tangxue's results. But they will keep her current marks. But forensic science. Doesn't she have to deal with corpses all the time? She's just a girl, you need to change your way of thinking. According to Mu Tangxue's current condition, she can't go into business. But she can go into politics. It's also a way for her to protect herself. Su Zipei felt that what Lu Wenhua said made sense. Then, she said, I'll let Mu Tangxue think about it. Then, that's all for today. I'll go and ask the people from the appraisal department. Xing Xiao was the one who gave him the exam papers. Although he did not know when Xing Xiao sent someone to infiltrate the confidential room, it was not an urgent matter anymore. If the higher-ups wanted to pursue the matter, he would bear all the consequences. Then, Xing Xiao and Lu Wenhua went to the appraisal department. They gave each other Mu Qiqi's daily notes, exam papers, and Mu Tangxue's daily notes and exam papers. After comparing the notes with the professionals, they finally came to a conclusion. Firstly, the names on these two college entrance exams have been altered. They used the most advanced correction potion to alter the names without leaving a trace. Currently, this kind of thing is almost impossible to buy in the market. It can be found overseas, but it costs a lot of money. Secondly, the notes in these two exam papers are very similar. The similarity is 70%. After comparing the notes with Mu Tangxue's daily notes, we found that one of the two exam papers has been forged. But there are many traces of forgery in one of the exam papers. And this forgery is very similar to Mu Tangxue's notes. No matter how a person imitates, no matter how well he or she imitates, he or she will not be able to change his or her habit of using his or her pen. So, after comparing the two exam papers, we found that they were swapped. And, in order to confuse the public, Mu Tangxue even practiced Mu Qiqi's notes. This can be seen from her sudden change in writing habits. Actually, it's a very clumsy method. If Mu Qiqi did not do so well in the exam, she might not even realize it herself. She might really think that she did something wrong in the exam. But, Mu Qiqi got the third place in the entire country. Lu Wenhua told the staff from the appraisal department. I'm afraid Mu Tangxue did not think about it too. Because she prepared for the exam seriously. Otherwise, she would not have passed the admission requirements of Xingting University. Chapter 81. Now that we have the results, young Master Sheng, I will leave the rest to you, Lu Wenhua said to Xing Xiao. Lu Wenhua was referring to the two invigilators. To be specific, there were 4 of them, 1 main invigilator and 1 assistant invigilator. Mu Tangxue and Mu Qiqi were in different exam rooms. If they wanted to exchange the exam papers, the invigilators would definitely collude with them. It all depended on how the invigilators were going to explain themselves. The main goal now was to find out who the 2 main invigilators were. Xing Xiao nodded. Leave it to me. I am good at dealing with scumbags. Since there was an act of bribery, most people would naturally react and investigate the bank account. But now, many people knew to be cautious and use cash or checks. Cash could be hidden indefinitely, while checks could be exchanged after the commotion died down. So, the 2 main invigilators were not that stupid. Even if they had a huge sum of money, they would not let others know. If they wanted to get the 2 to testify, they must have something on them. If they wanted to get something on them, they must find their weakness. Out of the 2 of them, one of them was very honest. He went to school as usual every day. His life was always between school and home. However, he had a daughter who was sick. The other teacher was a womanizer. He loved to drink. Lu Wenhua thought that Xing Xiao would look for the drunkard because he seemed to have a lot of flaws. But Xing Xiao did not waste his time on the drunkard. Instead, he investigated the good father. He wanted to know what kind of illness his daughter had, how serious it was and how many surgeries she had undergone. In the end, Jing Yun told him that his daughter had congenital heart disease. She was waiting in line for resources. With this information, Xing Xiao whispered to Jing Yun, "Go to the hospital. Do this." Lu Wenhua looked at Xing Xiao confusedly. "Why don't you look for the drunkard? Do you think I want to do something to his daughter?" Xing Xiao sneered and shook his head. "Principal Lu, am I such a despicable person in your heart?" "Ugh. It's just a rumor." Lu Wenhua smiled awkwardly. "I just asked Jing Yun to contact the medical staff and tell the good father that his daughter is going to undergo surgery soon. What do you think he will do if he is anxious?" Lu Wenhua was enlightened. Indeed, the crown prince was the one who had to do this. A normal person would never think of using that seriously ill girl. However, from the moment this good father did something bad, this man was not worthy of sympathy. That was why Xing Xiao had no scruples. Let's wait and see. As long as one side confesses, the other side can't deny it even if they want to. These few days, Mu Qiqi stayed in her new home. But she was still not energetic. She knew that Xing Xiao and Lu Wenhua were busy with her. But she still needed some time to get over the pain she was feeling. That was why Mu Qiqi stayed at home, imagining how she would appear on the day of Mu Tangshua's gathering to give her the biggest surprise. Moreover, Xiao Xiao had not closed his eyes for a few days. It made Mu Qiqi feel guilty and urged her to pull herself together. Although, the pain caused by the Mu family really made her feel as if she was going to destroy the world. Late that night, Xing Xiao returned to his new home, travel-worn. He wanted to tell Mu Qiqi that he had found the evidence. The doctor lied to the man and said that he needed 1.5 million for the surgery. The man was so scared that his face turned pale. After that, he made a few phone calls in the corridor. There were signs of an argument. But in the end, he went to the bank and cashed the check. Jing Yun took a photo of everything, including the check with your mother's name on it. After that, Jing Yun took the evidence and went to the man. Guess what he wanted to do? He wanted to save his daughter first. What a kind father he is. Unfortunately, his daughter did not need the surgery at all. Jing Yun would never forget that scene for the rest of his life. The man wanted to jump off the building but Jing Yun stopped him. What do you think your death is worth? Your family will lose their source of income from now on. The truth will be buried in the sea. Then, the person whose result was changed by you will never get justice in his life. Do you think your death is worth it? The man hesitated. I promise I won't call the police. I just want you to tell me the truth. Moreover, I will take care of your daughter's medical expenses forever. I can sign the papers so that you can rest assured. Seeing that Jing Yun had given him so many benefits, the man finally sat on the floor and burst into tears. I really didn't do it on purpose. It's my first time doing such a thing. According to the man, he was in charge of the exam room where Mu Tangxue was. Then, he made an agreement with the chief examiner of the other exam room to exchange the exam papers and share the spoils with the teacher of the same exam room. The names of the exam papers had been changed beforehand. So, the difficulty for them was how to exchange the exam papers. The truth had been revealed. But Mu Qiqi did not feel happy at all. Because Mu Tangxue was still laughing. Moreover, the result of exchanging the exam papers had been done. The damage to her had been done. Now, only by making Mu Tangxue pay the price could she completely calm the fire in her heart. Xing Xiao looked at Mu Qiqi's indifferent face. Then, he put all the evidence in front of her. These are all for you. Moreover, Jing Yun has found out which hotel the Mu family booked. When the time comes, you can enjoy the big screen. This time, you must fight well in this battle. It must have been hard, right? Mu Qiqi looked at Xing Xiao, her heart aching. You're the crown prince, but you ran around for a little girl like me. You didn't even sleep for a few nights. Xing Xiao knew that she would not calm down before she vented her anger. That was why he simply pinched her cheeks and got close to her. You know you owe me. As for the compensation, wait until I'm done with Mu Tangxue. No, Xiao Xiao. It's the entire Mu family, since they can turn my life upside down. Let's fight to the death. I won't let anyone from the Mu family off. I will return all the grievances and grudges. Since they won't let me have it easy, no one can have their way. That was probably the biggest release Mu Qiqi had been holding back all this while. Xing Xiao laughed out loud when he saw how insolent and arrogant she was. Chapter 82. It was the middle of July at the 5-star Crown Resort Hotel. The Mu family was going to hold a celebration for Mu Tangxue that night. They wanted to congratulate her for her excellent results and her admission into the best university in Enchanting University. At 6:00, the guests arrived one after another. Apart from Papa Mu's business friends, the Mu family was there too. No matter if they were jealous or envious of Mu Tangxue, they couldn't let anyone take advantage of them. Papa Mu was all smiles tonight. He was proud of Mu Tangxue's results. Everyone was envious and praised him. Mama Mu was smiling too. She was wearing a long black dress and was adorned with jewels and diamonds. She looked noble and elegant. As for Mu Tangxue, she was the little princess of the night. She was wearing a purple halter dress, which made her look a little charming. After all, she was an adult, and Mama Mu did not stop her from dressing like a little girl. CEO Mu, like father, like daughter. Mu Tangxue is so outstanding. I'm so envious. That's right. As a congratulatory gift, I've prepared a big gift for my niece. Then, third uncle gave her a bunch of car keys. A Ferrari for my niece. Perfect. A beautiful car for a beautiful woman. Thank you, third uncle. Mu Tangxue held the keys. She was very excited. It was because she had gotten the admission letter from Enchanting University. It meant that it was too late for Mu Qiqi to know the truth now. Tangxue is so promising. Her grandmother loves her so much since she was young. Grandpa Mu was sitting on the high seat. He held his walking stick and waved at Mu Tangxue. Shwe, come to me. Grandpa. Mu Tangxue walked to him. I've prepared a big gift for you too. Then, Grandpa Mu gestured to the lawyer beside him. Read it. It's like this. Miss Mu is now an adult. Moreover, she has obtained such excellent results in her exams. So, Chairman Mu has decided to transfer 5% of Mu Group's shares to Miss Mu Tangxue. He hopes that she can grow up quickly and contribute to Mu Group. Even Papa Mu only owned 12% of the shares. Now, Mu Tangxue owned 5%. How enviable was that? Of course, Papa Mu was the happiest. Because Mu Tangxue could not manage the shares with her current ability. She needed him as her father. What an honor, I'm so envious, look at other people's daughters. Mu Tangxue was the center of attention tonight, and the Mu family had completely forgotten that Mu Qiqi was still there. Under the luxurious chandelier and the melodious vintage music, no one mentioned Mu Qiqi's name. It was as if she had never appeared and did not exist in this world. Shwe, it's a happy night. Why don't you go up there and say a few words to thank everyone for their support? Papa Mu reminded. Mu Tangxue nodded. At that moment, she was like a proud little princess. She had everything now, whether it was her grades, her position in the Mu family, or the shares of the Mu family. She had everything. Then, Mu Tangxue walked to the stage. But just as she was about to step on the stage, a staff member came to her with a gift box. Miss Mu, someone has brought you a gift. Mu Tangxue quickly caught the exquisite gift box. Who gave it to you? A secret guest. She asked you to sign for it. She will be here soon, the staff answered politely. Mu Tangxue did not think much about it. She immediately signed for the gift. But she did not know who would be so thoughtful as to wrap it so beautifully. Hurry up and open it. It might be one of your admirers. Mama Moo quickly said. She was very curious. That's right. The guests started to cheer. Mu Tangxue nodded and smiled as she opened the brocade box. However, her face paled the moment the box was opened. Mama Moo saw that she was not right. She quickly asked, "What's wrong?" Mu Tangxue put the box away guiltily. But Mama Moo took it from her. "What's this?" There was nothing else. It was just the appraisal report of the 2 test papers. Mama Moo put it away too. Her face turned pale too. "It's nothing. It's just a prank." "What prank?" Papa Moo snatched it away. He was about to open the box when Mama Moo begged him. "Hubby, don't open it. Please, Dad, it's a private gift. Let me go home and open it." Mu Tangxue tried to smooth things over. Right at this moment, a figure walked out from the crowd. She was wearing a blue starry sky short skirt. Her figure was skinny, but her eyes were sharp, carrying with them an extreme coldness. More importantly, she looked almost the same as Mu Tangxue. But her temperament was completely different. If Mu Tangxue was a delicate rose, Mu Qiqi was a dangerous black rose at that very moment. How could an 18-year-old girl be so intimidating? This was really surprising. "It's my gift. Why don't you dare to open it?" Mu Qiqi slowly walked towards the crowd and asked the Mu family. "Or are you afraid?" When Mu Tangxue saw Mu Qiqi, she quickly went up to her. "Sister, this is not the time for jokes." But Mu Qiqi pushed her away. "Who's your sister? Do you think of me as your sister?" Mama Moo stepped forward as well, but before she could reach Mu Qiqi turned to face the guests. "Let me tell you what this present I've given you is. I believe many of you here have children studying at Eton. You must have heard about Mu Tangxue's results and why she could perform so well. Mu Qiqi, you didn't do well. Can't you let others do well?" Mu Tangxue quickly gained the upper hand. "I know what the school thinks of me. But this is my real results. It has nothing to do with you. Is that so?" Mu Qiqi smiled. Then, she pointed at the box in Papa Moo's hand with her chin. "Do you dare to open the box and show everyone what's inside? Don't make trouble out of nothing." Mu Qiqi glared at Mu Tangxue with determination and disgust. Then, she walked up to Papa Moo and took the box from him. She opened it in front of everyone, but Mu Tangxue snatched it away from him. In the process, the report fell beside the guests' feet. The guests bent down to pick it up and read its contents. "What does it say?" one of the guests asked. Chapter 83. All the guests looked at each other when the results were out. "What's going on?" the guests asked. The daughters of the Mu family had always been a couple. But recently, they heard that something had happened to the eldest daughter of the Mu family. Rumor had it that the Mu family refused to admit it. It seemed that the banquet today had confirmed that. But why did Mu Qiqi suddenly appear with the report? What was going on? Let me tell you what's going on. Mu Qiqi walked down the stage and took the report from the guests. Then, she faced the crowd. "This report shows that Mu Tangxue's exam papers and mine have been swapped. And Mu Tangxue even copied my notes to confuse the public." "You're lying." Mu Tangxue was hysterical. "I'm lying? Mu Tangxue, this time, I won't give you any chance to make a comeback. I've already sent the original version of the report and the exam paper to the Ministry of Education. Did you change my exam paper? The Ministry of Education will give me an answer. Otherwise, how could a person who can't even get into the top 30 in the country suddenly get the 3rd place? You. How can you do that? And you never liked science subjects. So, your comprehensive science scores were always lagging behind. Why? Did you get full marks in all subjects? Muchichi's voice was loud and heavy. She was trembling because she was trying to control the anger in her heart. Security. Security. Papa Mu saw that the situation was not right. He wanted to get someone to chase Muchichi away. But, Muchichi smiled and said to him, "Don't worry, Mr. Mu. I will settle the score later. If you want to chase me away without waiting for me to settle the score, I will not care about what happened to Grandma anymore. When the time comes, the whole country will know about it. Don't blame me for not greeting you here." At that moment, Muchichi was like the incarnation of hatred. Because every word she said was like a sharp knife. She did not leave any leeway for anyone. She wanted to expose the truth and force everyone into a life-and-death struggle. Papa Mu looked at Muchichi in shock. But, he could not do anything to her. Let's get back to Mutangxue. You swapped my exam papers and stole my life. How can you accept someone else's gift? Do you think you can accuse me of swapping the exam papers just because of the report? Where's the evidence? Muchichi, do you think it's that easy to cheat? Mutangxue stood beside Mama Mu and screamed hysterically. She no longer had the gentleness of a princess. He had become like a clown. Teacher Yuan from exam room 12 and Teacher Deng from exam room 16. You and Mrs. Mu should remember them, right? Nonsense, I don't even know the teachers in Shui school. Mama Mu completely dissociated herself. You couldn't beat your sister in the exam, and you're spreading rumors here. How shameless. You don't know me, okay? Muchichi smiled. Then, she said to the hotel manager, "Can I trouble you to turn on the super large screen in your hotel? I really can't wait." Since Xing Xiao had arranged it beforehand, the hotel was very cooperative. They immediately turned on the big screen in the hotel and were ready to show the video Xing Xiao had given them. Mutangxue, Mrs. Mu, I'll give you one last chance. Do you admit that you bribed the invigilator to switch my exam papers? Giving birth to a daughter like you is the biggest humiliation of my life. Mama Mu hugged Mutangxue and snorted coldly. Okay. Muchichi nodded. She did not intend to give them another chance. She immediately asked the staff to show the video. Then, a figure appeared on the big screen. It was one of the main examiners, the good father. He recorded the video. Mrs. Mu contacted me a few times. The first time, she offered me $1 million. But I thought it was too risky, so I rejected her. Later, she used my daughter's illness to persuade me. She gave me a check of $3 million. So, I agreed. Moreover, I covered for each other with the assistant examiner in the same exam room. After everything was done, I gave him $500,000 in cash. We swapped Muchichi and Mutangxue's exam papers. At first, I thought that as long as Mutangxue did better than Muchichi, I would have completed the mission. I did not expect Muchichi to get the third place in the entire country. When the results were announced, I thought that perhaps this day would come. The teacher in the video looked very miserable. He was even crying. But, it still gave Mutangxue a chance to struggle. Do you think that you can get into Enchanting University just because you bribed the teacher and slandered me? Sister, it's too late. Enchanting University's acceptance letter is already here. Whether it's slander or not, I've already called the police. The police have the evidence, the check, whatever you want. The Mu family can't do whatever they want. Do you think that you can scare me? Mutangxue showed her strong mentality. She was not scared by Muchichi at all. I think that I should be the one to call the police. Obviously, Mutangxue was not willing to be suppressed by Muchichi. And, Muchichi would not lower her head to Mutangxue. At that moment, Papa Mu finally said, "Enough." This farce was really enough. Muchichi, is that all you can do? A fine banquet was turned into such a mess by you. What a disgrace. To Papa Mu, he thought that Muchichi was just throwing a tantrum and joking. He thought that Muchichi was just unwilling to admit defeat. When Mu Tangxue saw Papa Mu standing in front of her, she became even more confident. Sister, your show is over. Can you get lost now? Muchichi, leave now. Your father is not going to pursue this matter. Just look at the Mu family's courage in refusing to admit even in death. Their act of covering one's ears while stealing a bell was simply too shameless. Still, this time, Muchichi would not be fooled by this family. Because the police arrived soon. The police entered the hotel and asked everyone, "Who is Madame Su Ziqing?" Mama Mu's face changed instantly. "Uncle, this is her." Muchichi pointed at Mama Mu and said to the police. "You're suspected of bribery. Come with us." After the police said that, they took out their handcuffs and tried to put them on Mama Mu. But, Mama Mu grabbed Papa Mu and begged for mercy. "Hubby, I didn't do anything wrong. Why are you arresting me? Stop acting. Otherwise, I'll charge you for obstructing public service." The short police officer shouted at Mama Mu. Then, he ordered his subordinates to bring Mama Mu away. "Hubby, save me. You, Mu Tangxue and Muchichi are coming to the police station to help with the investigation." Before the police took Mama Mu away, they told Muchichi, "Don't be afraid, child. We will fight for the justice you want." "Thank you, officer," Muchichi said with tears in her eyes. "Come to the police station after you're done here," the officer told Muchichi. Chapter 84. Mu Tangxue, are you going to continue? The Education Bureau, the police, Eton, Enchanting University and even the whole country who care about education will be watching you. Are you going to continue to be stubborn? At that time, the news will know about it. Everything about you will be uncovered. Third in the country? You won't just be the third place in the country tomorrow. I will make you the first place in the country. Mu Tangxue shook her head after hearing what Muchichi said. She denied it. "Sister, do you think you can lie to me? I didn't change your exam paper. I will never admit it. If I did, I will be struck by lightning." Then, Mu Tangxue went forward and grabbed Papa Mu's shirt. "Dad, believe me. These are my results. I didn't change my sister's exam paper. But the evidence was out. The police had come to arrest them." Mu Tangxue was still lying to herself. The guests could see it clearly. Especially the elders of the Mu family. They felt embarrassed. So, they said to Papa Mu, second brother, "I don't know what to say. Do as you see fit." The relatives took the opportunity to leave the hotel. Because they could not afford to be humiliated. How could you do something like changing your sister's exam paper? You're crazy. How could you steal your sister's exam paper? I'm afraid the Mu family is going to be infamous this time. You can't judge a book by its cover. You even set your sister up. All around them, the angry voices of the guests were like sharp knives stabbing into Mu Tangxue's heart. You are all talking nonsense. I didn't change Muchichi's exam paper. She is the one who framed me. Mu Tangxue ran to Grandpa Mu and knelt down. "Grandpa, you have to uphold justice for me. Grandpa, I really didn't change my exam paper. I did it myself." Grandpa Mu held his walking stick. His expression was stern and his eyes were cold. He looked at Muchichi from afar and asked, "Chichi, are you trying to take revenge on the Mu family? Are you trying to frame your sister because you are not happy about being kicked out of the family? If that's the case, you should come for me. Why do you have to hurt your sister? It's been so many years. I never thought that you would even be concerned about her college entrance exam results. Everything that happened here today, I don't believe it at all. If you didn't do this to retaliate against the Mu Jia, then why would you do this? Why did you have to choose such a day to make this public? What education bureau? What police station? It's just a bluff. After the police station investigates the matter, I believe that they will definitely give my granddaughter justice. As for you, you've embarrassed the Mu clan. In this life, don't even think about stepping into the Mu clan's door. The guests are dismissed. Before the evidence is out, I'll only believe what my granddaughter says. With that, he pulled Mu Tangxue to her feet. Still, that was within Mu Qiqi's expectations. The Mu family would never admit that they were cunning. Grandpa, thank you. Thank you for believing in me. Don't be afraid. Grandpa has a lawyer by his side. Little he, this matter. Help me deal with it. The lawyer next to Grandpa Mu saw the situation with his own eyes. So, he had a pair of sharp eyes, especially when he saw the report and the police. So, he knew very well whether Mu Tangxue had swapped the exam papers or not. But because Grandpa Mu was his employer, he could not reject Grandpa Mu's request. As a lawyer, he should have a bottom line. So, lawyer, he told Grandpa Mu honestly, Grandpa, based on the evidence that Mu Qiqi has presented, the Education Bureau and the police station are very likely to say that Miss Mu changed the exam papers. So, I think that the Mu family should think of a way to settle this matter instead of going against Mu Qiqi. Otherwise, it will not benefit the Mu family at all. But I didn't change her exam papers. Mu Tangxue refused to give in. Moreover, the admission letter from Enchanting University has been issued. I will be able to enter the best university soon. When the guests left, Su Zipei was ordered by Xing Xiao to tell Mu Qiqi about the latest announcement from the Education Bureau and the results of the announcement from Enchanting University. After Mu Qiqi heard this, she quickly turned on her phone. She saw the response from the Education Department. She walked in front of Mu Tangxue and showed her the phone. The Education Department has already announced that your results have been cancelled. Enchanting University has also sent out a notice overnight to withdraw your admission. Tomorrow, the whole Jianshuan will know that you changed my exam papers. Mu Tangxue, if you kneel in front of the Mu family now, they will not be able to protect you. You want to enter Enchanting University? Not even in your next life. Then, Mu Qiqi continued to speak to the Mu family. I know that you have always favored Mu Tangxue since you were young. So, even at this time, you are still deceiving yourself. I don't blame you. But, Grandpa, Dad, ask yourselves. What have I received from the Mu family for so many years? Have you ever cared about me? You beat and scold me at every turn. It seems that I am an unnecessary existence in your eyes. If that is the case, why did you give birth to me? Since you can sacrifice me for your own benefit, it is fine. Now, I can only harm the benefit that you care about the most. So, don't blame me for what I did today. It is you who did not treat me as a human first. After saying that, Mu Qiqi returned to Mu Tangxue. She stared at her fiercely. The Mu Qiqi that you bullied in the past has been completely destroyed by you this time. Since the day the results were announced, I was crying in the corner while you were laughing on the stage. From that moment onwards, I swore that I will see you lose your reputation. There will be no place for you in Jianshuan. You can continue to tell others that you did not change my exam papers. When the whole world knows about this, you see, at that moment, Dad and Grandpa behind you will only give you the loudest slap in the face. Mu Tangxue, I am looking forward to that moment. After saying that, Mu Qiqi wiped her tears away. She pretended to be strong. Also, I have never wanted to return to the Mu family. But, I will remember every single thing that the Mu family did to me. Seeing that Mu Tangxue's body was about to collapse, Mu Qiqi turned around. I am done. I will see you at the police station later. After saying that, Mu Qiqi walked away with determined steps. The more wounds there were, the more hatred there was. Chapter 85. Soon, the guests left the hotel. Only the members of the Mu family were left, especially Mu Tangxue who was squatting on the floor. She was sobbing uneasily. She looked weak and helpless. Papa Mu did not care about his daughter. He said to his assistant, "Let's go to the police station first." Then, he left. He was very disappointed with the two sisters. The news would be published tomorrow. So, it was better for him to go back to the company to prepare for it instead of comforting them. Then, Grandpa Mu helped Mu Tangxue to stand up. He looked at his son walking away and said to the lawyer, "Let's go to the police station together. I will take care of that bastard." "Yes, Grandpa Mu." The Mu family became lively after the news came out. Mama Mu kept claiming that she was innocent after she was brought to the police station. She did not cooperate with the investigation at all. The police could not stand it anymore. "Let me tell you, Madam Su. The Ministry of Education has announced that you will be severely punished if you do not cooperate with the investigation on bribing the examiner. 3 million. It's 2 million in total. Do you know that it's a serious crime to bribe more than 10,000? Do you know how many years you will be sentenced to? You are still trying to defend yourself. The victim has already provided important evidence. The only reason you're sitting here is to fight for a reduced sentence for yourself, but you're still not cooperating." Mama Mu was shocked. She quickly took her phone. "No, I want to hire a lawyer, do whatever you want. But, the evidence that the police have is very comprehensive. You will not be able to escape even if you hire a lawyer." Soon, Mu Qiqi arrived at the police station. She was going to provide the police with detailed evidence and her statement. Soon, Grandpa Mu brought Mu Tangxue to the police station. The police looked at the two sisters. They felt that the world was full of strange things. Some twins were inseparable. Some twins tried to kill each other. But, they had never seen twins killing each other like this. Of course, Mu Qiqi was the victim. She deserved more sympathy from the police. But, they still handled the case according to the law. They were just a little gentler to Mu Qiqi. "Both of you, please come here and record your statements." Mu Tangxue looked angry, wronged, and scared. "Lawyer He, go in and comfort Tangxue." Grandpa Mu was really biased. The police could not help patting Mu Qiqi's shoulder. "Little girl, we will definitely clear your name. Now that things are clear, just wait for the results." Mu Qiqi nodded. Although she felt wronged, she insisted on finishing her statement and left the interrogation room. When Mu Qiqi returned to the main hall, she saw Grandpa Mu. He was asking about Mama Mu's condition. The policeman answered him directly, "Grandpa, I'm afraid Madam Su can't go home for the time being. She is suspected of bribery. The amount involved is huge. I'm afraid she won't be able to leave easily. The evidence is already in the final stage. You should go home. It's already so late. Take care of yourself." Grandpa Mu frowned when he heard that. It was because he realized that Mu Qiqi was not the one who framed Mu Tangxue. "Officer, my little girl has been wronged. Grandpa, the Education Bureau will not get involved if she is wronged. Moreover, the police will investigate it overnight. The impact of this incident is too big. Please go home." Grandpa Mu was stunned for a moment. Then, he seemed to wake up. He looked at Mu Qiqi, who was not far away, with a complicated expression. Then, Mu Tangxue came out of the interrogation room in tears. Grandpa Mu said to her, "Shue, the police are serious now. You should tell me the truth." Mu Tangxue was already scared. She could only pretend to faint when Grandpa Mu asked her. Seeing that she had fainted, Grandpa Mu asked Lawyer He to carry her. Send her to the hospital. Then, he walked up to Mu Qiqi with his walking stick and said, "Do you really have to be so calculative about it? Are you willing to destroy the Mu family? I believe in the regenerative ability of the Mu family. It's not something that I can destroy. Secondly, when you said that, did you think that you would stand in my shoes and defend me? We are both born in the Mu family. It's only right that Mu Tangxue stole my results. Why? Why? Having said that, Mu Qiqi turned around and walked out of the police station. Grandpa Mu sighed deeply. He trusted Mu Tangxue so much. He did not believe in any evidence. He was afraid that Mu Tangxue would be wronged and framed. But his granddaughter was not as simple as he thought. The scariest thing was that tomorrow would be the day after. Because it would be a heavy blow to the Mu family and the Mu group once it was exposed. So, they should not have provoked Mu Qiqi in the first place. They should have begged her to let it go. But it was too late now. That night was the result of Xing Zhao's training for Mu Qiqi. She had the courage to stand in front of everyone and say those words because she had rehearsed it in front of Xing Zhao. But when they walked out of the police station, Mu Qiqi suddenly squatted down. She felt helpless. At that moment, Xing Zhao's tall figure appeared on the other side of the road. He crossed the red light and walked towards Mu Qiqi. Then, he picked her up. Mu Qiqi hugged Xing Zhao's neck. She cried loudly in the noisy traffic. Xiao Xiao, I am so sad. Xing Xiao put her in the car. Then, he hugged her head and let her bury her head in his arms. So what if you have no family? Am I not better than your father or your mother? Did you see how Mu Tangxue tried to argue? She even tried to run away. You are great today. You are really great. Xing Xiao kissed Mu Qiqi's head. Then, he brought her back to the small mansion. Little one, you have gotten what you wanted. Mu Tangxue will never be able to enter Xingting University again. She will never be able to enter Xingting University again. Moreover, tomorrow will be a truly difficult day for the Mu clan. At that moment, Mu Qiqi had mixed feelings. Because the person she was tearing apart was Mu Tangxue, Mama Mu, and all her family. But all of this was because she was forced into a corner. And just you wait. Your father will come and apologize to you. He will beg you to come back to the Mu family. Because that was the only way Papa Mu could appease the public. Chapter 86. That night, the news about the sisters exchanging the exam papers was reported in the morning newspaper the next day. Of course, Mama Mu and Mu Tangxue's behavior became a hot topic among the people. Papa Mu was humiliated because of it. Meanwhile, Mu Group stocks were affected and started to fall. But, Mu Tangxue was still trying to shift the blame to Grandpa Mu when she woke up in the hospital. She knelt down in front of Grandpa Mu and said, "Grandpa, I really thought that this was my result. I really didn't know that the exam papers were tampered with." Grandpa Mu finally understood what happened. So, he looked at Mu Tangxue in disappointment. Then, tell me, why did you practice Mu Tangxue's handwriting? Mommy asked me to do that. I really don't know anything, Grandpa. Your mommy paid a lot to exchange the exam papers for you. You don't know anything? I don't believe it. But it's true. Mu Tangxue argued pitifully. If Grandma is still here, she will definitely believe that I'm innocent. Grandpa Mu's heart softened when he heard Mu Tangxue talking about his wife. Finally, he said to Mu Tangxue seriously, "If there's any investigation, just say that you don't know anything. It's all your mother's plan. It has nothing to do with you. At least, the Mu family won't be so humiliated." "Thank you, Grandpa." She was young and ignorant. She was easily misled by others. Grandpa Mu thought that he should at least protect Mu Tangxue. Even so, Xingting University has announced that you won't be able to study in this university anymore. Mu Tangxue knew that she couldn't study in Xingting University anymore. But, Mu Qiqi couldn't either. Unless Mu Qiqi had to study for another year. Thinking about it now, it was not a big loss. Don't think too much since you're staying in the hospital. Have a good rest. Don't worry about anything else. After that, Grandpa Mu left the hospital with his walking stick. He went straight to Mu Group. It was because they had to make a choice at this moment. The news is out. Although it won't affect the foundation of Mu Group, it will inevitably be used by people with ulterior motives. So, you need to let your daughter-in-law take responsibility for everything as soon as possible. Moreover, you need to take responsibility for Tangshue's sins as well. That's the only way to prevent any losses. Papa Mu understood Grandpa Sheng's suggestion and nodded. I understand, Dad. As for Mu Chichi, you have to appease her now. Otherwise, if she insists on pursuing the matter, this matter will drag on for 1.5 years. I understand. Papa Mu nodded. That was why the Mu family intended for Mama Mu to bear the entire burden. Of course, she would not agree to it, but the Mu family had a lawyer. Mama Mu was waiting for the Mu family's lawyer to come and bail her out of the police station. However, the lawyer was not there to bail her out. Mr. Officer, may I have a word with my client? I promise, after I communicate with her, she will tell you everything truthfully. Then hurry up. Now, Mu Chichi's case had attracted the attention of the whole education department. The whole education industry was watching the case with their eyes wide open. The police were under a lot of pressure too. Lawyer, can I get out of the police station soon? Mrs. Mu, don't panic. Listen to Mr. Mu's suggestion. Everyone knows about it now. It will affect the Mu Group greatly. So, Mr. Mu wants you to take responsibility for it first. Let's close the case as soon as possible. When the news dies down, the Mu family will spend some money to get you out of jail. That is the best way to solve this problem now. Mama Mu knew that the Mu family was going to sacrifice her. She could not believe it. I'm doing this for the honor of the Mu family. Why should I bear the responsibility alone? But you're the one who caused this matter. If you didn't bribe the invigilator, everyone wouldn't know about it. Moreover, Mr. Mu wants you to bear all the consequences. You must insist that Miss Tangxue did not know anything. If you can't do that, you will get a divorce the moment you step out of the police station. Divorce. Mama Mu was stunned when she heard that. I've been married to him for so many years. I've worked so hard for him. But now, he is willing to sacrifice me to protect Mu Group. If you are willing to turn yourself in, you will be detained for a few months at most. You won't have to suffer too much. The lawyer tried to persuade her. It's better for everyone. Mama Mu put her hands together and lowered her head. She did not expect that she would be betrayed by her husband and her daughter. So, you're saying that my husband will not help me? He wants me to plead guilty and hide the fact that my daughter knew about this matter? That's right. Or else, Mrs. Mu, the divorce agreement is waiting for you. Mama Mu laughed when she heard that. But, tears welled up in her eyes. What does the Mu family think I am? A tool? Anyway, I've told you what I've said. You decide how you want to weigh the consequences. Mama Mu did not expect that she would be abandoned by the Mu family after planning for so long for Mu Tangxue. Why did she treat Mu Tangxue so well and even abandon her other daughter? Mama Mu was filled with hatred when she thought about that. After the lawyer left, the policeman came in. He saw Mama Mu's expression and asked, "Are you going to tell me the truth or not?" "Sir, I want to see someone." "I'll tell you everything once I see her." "Tell me." "I want to see my sister, Su Zipei." The incident where Mu Chichi was swapped had caused a huge commotion. It had attracted a lot of attention. The public wanted an answer as to what kind of punishment Mama Mu and Mu Tangxue would receive. And Mu Chichi was waiting for the answer. But the police called Su Zipei and told her that Mama Mu wanted to see her. Otherwise, she would not confess. Su Zipei hated Mu Tangxue the most. Mama Mu was second to her. Of course, she did not want to see that vicious woman. But Lu Wenhua tried to persuade her. Logically speaking, your sister wants to see the Mu family the most now. Why does she want to see you? There must be a reason behind it. You should go and see her. Mu Chichi felt that Principal Lu was right. Aunt, Although it doesn't matter if that woman admits it or not, I hope that she and Mu Tangxue will be punished sooner. If that's the case, I'll go to the police station. Su Zipei stood up. I'll send you there. Because of Mu Qiqi, Lu Wenhua became a frequent visitor of the small mansion. Su Zipei no longer hated him. Chapter 87. Then, Mu Qiqi whipped out her phone. She wanted to call Xing Xiao, but hung up after dialing. She had been immersed in pain all this while. She did not have a good date with Xing Xiao, and she did not know what Xing Xiao thought of her. On the other side, Xing Xiao was dealing with some work. His phone rang once and hung up. He put down his documents and picked up his phone. He did not call Mu Qiqi, but drove straight to the little mansion. Mu Qiqi was alone in the little mansion. She was stunned when she saw Xing Xiao enter the living room. Xiao Xiao. Xing Xiao hugged her and put her on his thighs. Seeing Mu Qiqi's blushing face, he mocked her. Have you forgotten who your body belongs to after not hugging you for a few days? Mu Qiqi wrapped her arms around his neck and shook her head. I haven't forgotten. I'm just afraid that you don't want it. Why did you call me just now? Xing Xiao asked, hugging her. I just miss you. Mu Qiqi answered softly. It's been a long time since we last had a date. Xing Xiao could not help rolling his eyes at that. Then, he put her down. I have something to do now. We'll talk about it tonight. I'll pick you up at the same place at 11 o'clock. Are you leaving now? Do you know there are more than 30 people waiting for me for a meeting? With that, Xing Xiao walked out of the little mansion and drove quickly to Huangyao. His little one's existence was affecting his mood too much. If he could not confirm it with his own eyes, he would not be able to hold a meeting in peace. Mu Qiqi watched as Xing Xiao left. Her heart was sweet and bitter at the same time. Because she did not know where her future lay, when Su Zipei arrived at the police station, the police arranged for her to meet Mamamoo alone. Facing the person who would frame her own daughter, Su Zipei really could not muster up a good attitude. She could only ask Mamamoo stiffly, "What's the matter? Just say it. As long as you are willing to seek justice for me." Zipei, the Mu family is going to sacrifice me now. They want me to bear all the responsibility. It's not a sacrifice, it's what you deserve. Mu Qiqi was chased out of the Mu family and she's already in so much pain. Now that she's ranked third in the entire country, you've ruined her future just because of an exchange. What's so great about Mu Tangxue that she deserves to be treated like this by your twin daughter? Su Zipei couldn't hold back her tears. If you still have a heart, you should feel shame and regret for everything you've done. I know I've let Mu Qiqi down. I thought I could live a luxurious life in the Mu family forever. But now, I realize that the Mu family, my husband, and my daughter don't care about me at all. They even want me to confess to my crimes. I don't have anyone else to look for right now. I know Qiqi hates me, so I can only look for you. As long as, you can promise me that after I turn myself in, you will help me find a lawyer and help me get out as soon as possible. This time, I won't listen to the Mu family's arrangements. What's the Mu clan's arrangement? They claim that Mu Tangxue doesn't know anything, and that I've done everything by myself. Su Zipei laughed coldly at Mama Mu's words. So this is the Mu family you've worked so hard for all your life. As long as you promise me that you'll help me find a lawyer, I'll stand by Mu Qiqi this time. Don't you want the Mu family anymore? Don't you want riches? No, I won't. When I'm out of detention, I'll sue the Mu family and get my compensation. After all, Mama Mu knew very well that the Mu family didn't care about her life at all. They only cared about the stocks of Mu Group. As for Mu Tangxue, she was like a ball of white snow, chilling to the bone. I'll promise you if it's really as you say. But, the Mu family's lawyer will stay by your side. I'll pretend to promise him. Then, I'll tell the truth when I confess. All right. The Mu family didn't know that Su Zipei had come to the police station, because Mama Mu had asked the police not to tell anyone. Then, she replied to the Mu family's lawyer. She agreed to do it. She would take all the blame so that Mu group could return to normal. Grandpa Mu and Papa Mu were very happy when they heard that. Especially Mu Tongxue. She even thought that even if Mu Qiqi's results were not recognized, she could still get her results back. Because she was also a victim. But, Mu Qiqi's handwriting was so obvious. How could she say that she didn't know that her mother would do that? Who was she trying to fool? No matter what, she was relieved that Mama Mu was willing to take all the blame. Didn't Mu Qiqi think that she had already won? Not yet. When Su Zipei returned home, she told Mu Qiqi and Lu Wenhua about it. Lu Wenhua sighed when he heard that. That's what a rich family is like. But now, it's interesting that your sister has to choose between her two daughters. I want to know how much her testimony will affect Mu Tongxue. If she insists that Mu Tongxue doesn't know anything about it, then Mu Tongxue will be judged as a victim. Although her results will not be counted, she can still take the exam next year. But if she accuses Mu Tongxue of knowing about it, then Mu Tongxue won't be able to take the exam for the next 3 years. Moreover, it will be a stain on her reputation if she wants to do other things. It's totally different. So, no matter what happened in the past, it won't hurt Mu Qiqi to win her over. Alright, I will do my best to help Qiqi with this matter. Aunt, thank you. Mu Qiqi sat beside Su Zipei and said gratefully. Qiqi, now, let's wait for the final judgment. Mu Tongxue must go to hell. I will not let her get away with it even if I have to risk my life. Mu Qiqi nodded and handed the pen Xing Xiao had given her to Su Zipei. Aunt Zipei, Brother Xiao gave this to me. It has a recording function. Take it just in case. All right. Mu Tongxue calmed down when she knew that she was fine. She became the princess of the Mu family again. It was just that she missed the exam. She did not do well in the exam. It was a pity that her sister was ranked 3rd in the country. She did not know that some things could not escape from her. There was no fluke. She just thought that she was fine now. But when it happened, it would be more dramatic. In the middle of the night, Mama Mu was interrogated. The lawyer of the Mu family was there too. He was very satisfied when he left because Mama Mu did everything according to the arrangement of the Mu family. However, after the lawyer left, Mama Mu immediately said to the police, "What I said just now is not valid. I want to change my testimony and tell them the truth." If that was the case, the show tomorrow would be even more exciting. At 11 o'clock, Mu Qiqi finally waited until her aunt fell asleep. When she sneaked out of the house, she saw Xing Xiao standing under the moonlight. Her heart. Chapter 88. Mu Qiqi walked up to Xing Xiao and saw that his chest was wet. It's so hot. Did you wait long for me? I just wanted to see if Mu Qiqi is more important now, after what happened. Is revenge more important, or me more important? Mu Qiqi looked up at Xing Xiao and saw his half-smile. It was a feeling she had not felt for a long time. Well, do you have an answer in your heart? Xing Xiao grabbed Mu Qiqi's arm and put her in his sports car, and they headed straight to their new home. Still, Xing Xiao pulled Mu Qiqi into his arms as soon as he stepped through the door, kissing her wildly. At first, Mu Qiqi could only bear it. But when she felt that the person holding her was the man who had always been by her side and helped her the most, she suddenly began to respond and ignore everything else. By the time they realized what was going on, they were already lying on the sofa. Xing Xiao's shirt was already unbuttoned, revealing his sexy muscles. Mu Qiqi froze and sat up, not knowing what to do. Xing Xiao chuckled and lifted Mu Qiqi's chin. You've grown up. You actually dare to push me down. Mu Qiqi promptly threw herself into Xing Xiao's arms and clung tightly to his body. Xiao Xiao, if I really have you, I might cling to you for the rest of my life. Do you mean that you still regret it now? Xing Xiao asked her dangerously. I won't regret it. But you have a better choice. Mu Qiqi really thought so. She wanted to possess him, but she was afraid that he would not be happy in the future. Xing Xiao frowned and hugged Mu Qiqi tightly until she could not breathe. I would cling to you even if I die. What choice do you think I have? I've told you from the start. Don't even think about escaping for the rest of your life since you've dragged me into hell. At those words, Mu Qiqi pushed Xing Xiao away, but her eyes were fixed on his shirt that had already fallen apart. Then, she reached out to unbutton his shirt, as if having made up her mind. But Xing Xiao simply grabbed her hands. What? Do you want to repay me? Do you think your eyes can hide from me? If you're not doing this for pure pleasure, I'd rather take a cold shower. With that, Xing Xiao pushed Mu Qiqi away and walked straight to the bathroom. Mu Qiqi chuckled as she knelt on the sofa. In the end, she followed behind him and picked up his clothes from the floor one by one. Soon, she pushed open the bathroom door and found him lying in the bathtub. Mu Qiqi did not dare to look around and only squatted beside him. It's not like I haven't seen it before. Why are you closing your eyes? Xing Xiao asked her teasingly. Back at the clinic, you were very nimble, that was to save you. Mu Qiqi looked downwards, and could still vaguely see the scar. Xing Xiao did not say anything. He just dragged Mu Qiqi into the bathtub and held her in his arms, pressing her down. If you move again, I won't be polite anymore. Xiao Xiao, will Mu Tangxue really get her retribution? Definitely. Xing Xiao held Mu Qiqi and answered her in a low but firm voice. The next morning, Mu Tangxue returned to the Mu family from the hospital. Although no one was nice to her, Papa Mu did not punish her. He even treated her like heir. Mu Tangxue knew her current situation. She should not appear in front of Papa Mu too often. She should clean up the mess as soon as possible so that she could win his heart back. Now that Mu Qiqi could not return to the Mu family, everything in the Mu family would eventually belong to her. As long as she could be useful to Papa Mu, he would not abandon her so easily. Now, Mama Mu had taken all the blame. Although Mu Tangxue was lucky to escape the responsibility, she still had to plan for her future. But she never thought about it. She was too simple-minded. Mama Mu changed her statement overnight. By then, the police had submitted all the evidence and witnesses to the court. Soon, Grandpa Mu called her. Don't be afraid, dear. Lawyer, he told me that you would be fine as long as your mother's statement is submitted. Then, should I go to the police station to see my mother? Why do you want to see her? She will be released in a few months. If you go to see her now, people will be suspicious. Also, Mu Group will hold a press conference in the afternoon. They will arrange for you to attend it. Attend it for what? She was just trying to push all the blame onto her mother. Although it was disgraceful, but, in this situation, there was no other way. Soon, Lu Wenhua received the news that Mu Group was going to hold a press conference. Then, he went to the small mansion. The Mu family must think that they will succeed. So, they are in a hurry to clarify the matter so that they can recover their shares. When is the press conference? Su Zipei was concerned about that. 2:00 in the afternoon. Then, it will be a great show. Su Zipei smiled. Then, she nudged Mu Qiqi. Let's wait for the show in the afternoon. Mu Group was holding a press conference to apologize to the public. They also wanted Mu Tangxue to clarify that she had nothing to do with the matter. She was a victim through and through. Mu Tangxue put on her best acting skills in front of the camera. She could not stop crying. She looked so pitiful. I really didn't know that Mommy would do this. If I knew, I would rather die than let Mommy be so confused. Moreover, I should have asked more questions. I always believed in Mommy. I always thought that Mommy thought that sister's handwriting was beautiful. That's why she asked me to practice it. I always treated sister as my role model. I really didn't know that mommy lied to me just so that she could help me cheat during the exam. It's all my fault. I've let sister down. I've let everyone down. Mu Tangxue insisted that she had nothing to do with the matter. Some reporters started whispering to each other. Who is she trying to fool? The handwriting is so similar. It's obvious that she has been imitating Mu Qiqi for a long time. How could she say that she didn't know? Who would believe that? You don't understand. If she said that she didn't know, she would be the victim. She would not be put in a difficult position by the law and the Ministry of Education. But if she took the initiative, what do you think will be waiting for her? If I were her, I would also say that I didn't know. Chapter 89. If you can't accept it, Mu Qiqi, as the person involved, is even more unwilling. The public is protesting too. They want the education department to punish Mu Tangxue. Now, we're waiting for Mama Mu's confession. Mu Tangxue has come out to clarify everything. I think she'll be fine. She'll be fine. Mu Tangxue thought that attending the press conference was an explanation to the public, and she was eager to clear her name. Little did she know, however, that her actions had aroused the ire of the police and the Ministry of Education. She had no intention of repentance at all. From the beginning to the end, she had treated others as fools, and treated the law and education as a game. So, after receiving Mama Mu's confession, the education department had already decided on how to deal with Mu Tangxue. But, after seeing the press conference, they immediately redefined her. So, the Mu family's press conference was held at 2:00 in the afternoon. It ended at 2:40. Then, the education department made an announcement at 3:40. After investigation, Mu Tangxue, a third-year student from Eton High School, and her mother, Su XX, disregarded the rules of the exam. They disrupted the order of the exam, bribed the invigilators, and swapped the exam papers of others. They violated the school rules and laws. So, the education department has decided that Mu Tangxue's results will be revoked. She will not be able to take the exam again for 5 years. She will be criticized by the whole nation. We hope that all the students will take this as a warning and be responsible for their future. The education department made the announcement. It caused an uproar. Just an hour ago, Mu Tangxue said that she did not cheat and that she was innocent. But, the education department's decision was a huge slap to Mu Tangxue's face. 3 years was already a heavy punishment. Now, it was 5 years. Mu Tangxue would not be able to take the exam again. In other words, she would have to wait for 5 years before she could get her diploma again. Moreover, it was announced to the whole nation. Mu Tangxue fell to the ground when she heard the news. What? How could it be? Not only that, Mu Group's promise was like a joke. Everyone in the circle laughed at her. Didn't she say that she did not cheat? The education department's announcement made Mu Group's situation worse. Papa Mu's face turned pale. He wanted to go to the police station to see Mama Mu. But, the police stopped him. Mr. Mu, I'm sorry. Madame Su has rejected your visit. She doesn't want to see you. This is impossible. At that moment, Mama Mu's new lawyer came out of the police station. He saw Papa Mu and walked towards him. Hello, Mr. Mu. I'm Madame Su's lawyer. My surname is Lu. Who do you think you are? The lawyer smiled. Then, he told Papa Mu, my client will file a divorce suit against you after this matter is settled. I hope you are mentally prepared, Mr. Mu. Then, Lawyer Lu left the police station. Papa Mu was furious. After all, Mama Mu was clearly going back on her word. This time, she was defending Mu Qiqi. Papa Mu was furious, and the first thing he did when he got home was give Mu Tangxue a slap. You useless piece of trash, how could you be my daughter? Idiot. Mu Tangxue was already feeling hopeless. She no longer had a future, and now she had to endure Papa Mu's abuse. Dad, I'm still useful to you. You can't hit me like this. You used to be very happy when I hit Muchichi like this. Now it's your turn. Can't take it anymore? Dad, believe me. You'll need me one day. Don't hit me anymore. Papa Mu took a deep breath and held it in. Go to your room. Don't let me see you. Mu Tangxue dashed to her room as if she was running for her life. Her life as a princess had finally come to an end. On the other hand, the education department had punished Mu Tangxue. But they had yet to punish Muchichi. They had a lot of discussions about that, and had done a lot of research on Muchichi's results. However, in order to maintain fairness, Muchichi's original score of 724 could not be counted as her result. After all, there was no guarantee that there was no tampering. Hence, the education department held a few meetings and finally came up with the following document. After investigation, Muchichi, a third-year student from Eton, has been found to have cheated in her college entrance examination. Hence, her results have been changed. The education department has decided to conduct a separate examination on her to prove the authenticity of her results. We hope that Muchichi can pull herself together as soon as possible and take part in the examination to welcome a brand new life. When Su Zipei received the call, she was so happy that she cried. It was because none of them had expected this result. She could take the examination again. That was equivalent to returning the 724 points to Muchichi. However, to Muchichi, a separate examination had lost its meaning. It was a unified examination. This kind of consoling examination would not be recognized by others, because the consoling nature of the examination was indeed unfair to the other examinees. Chichi, you can enter the best department in Enchanting University. Su Zipei was very happy. Muchichi thought about it for the whole night. When Enchanting University knew about Muchichi's story, they had made a special exception for her. As long as her score was higher than Enchanting University's admission requirements, she could choose to enter any department she wanted. However, Muchichi contacted Lu Wenhua privately. Principal Lu, I was against going to the forensic science department at first. But now, I have a choice. I am worried. So, what do you think? Nothing. Rest early, Uncle Lu. Muchichi did not say anything. She hung up the phone. A few days later, she took the examination arranged by the education department. However, it was not a good feeling to sit alone in the examination room. These few days, Xing Xiao would go to the education department to pick Muchichi up after work. Xiao Xiao, what would you think if I still couldn't become your junior this time? What else can I think? My woman will always be my woman no matter what she does, Xing Xiao replied casually. He had set a goal for Muchichi because he wanted her to have the motivation to move forward. But if that goal would make Muchichi unhappy, then there was no need for him to persist. Don't you think we are very far apart? Chapter 90. Muchichi knew that Xing Xiao was telling the truth. He had the right to be proud of himself. Muchichi did not want to think about the turmoil in the Xing family now. She just wanted to make the choice before her. She did not want to leave any regrets. Xiao Xiao, I've thought about it for a long time. Although the education department is returning my results to me by doing this, it's still a little unfair for me to take the exam alone. Even if they don't say anything now, it doesn't mean that they will accept it. My family framed me, and it has nothing to do with them. Even if I take the exam again and get full marks, they won't accept my results. So, I have tried my best for the exam. But I have decided to listen to Uncle Lu's suggestion and go to forensic science. Why? Tell me about it. Xing Xiao pressed with interest. I was very passive before, so I was afraid. But now that I have calmed down, I suddenly realized that it is more meaningful for me to go to forensic science. First, it can shut people's mouths. In the past, I could only choose forensic science. But now, I can enter all the departments. I don't feel wronged. Secondly, Grandma's death caused me a lot of pain. Although Mu Tangxue and I were the only ones in the room at that time, I always thought that I could prove my innocence without Mu Tangshue's help one day. That's why I'm leaning towards forensic science. It's also because I want to solve my own mysteries and solve the mysteries of others. Sheng Xiao chuckled at Mu Qiqi's words. Since you have thought it through, why not do it? Mu Qiqi smiled as well. She was completely reassured with Sheng Xiao's support. You have grown up. Your thinking is much more mature. Sometimes, I only want to rely on you. However, we are together. We are going to face many difficulties. I can't be helpless. I don't care about anything else. I don't want to be a burden to you. Xiao Xiao, no matter how strong you are, I can't just wait and enjoy your protection. You don't have to say it. I understand. Sheng Xiao stopped Mu Qiqi from continuing, because he knew what Mu Qiqi wanted to express and what her stance was. Mu Qiqi, who needed his hand to teach her a year ago, could think independently now. She had her own ideas. Don't grow too fast in front of me. I won't have much fun if you do. Soon, the two of them returned to the villa. Su Zipei quickly went up to them when she saw them enter the gates. Young Master Sheng, you've come just in time. The Mu family has sent someone to fetch Mu Qiqi. It seems that they want to negotiate with Mu Qiqi. Mu Group's stock price will not improve as long as the exam papers are not settled. Of course, the Mu family is anxious. They want Mu Qi to make a statement. Sheng Xiao sat on the sofa after he finished speaking. There's nothing wrong with that. You can use this opportunity to think about what benefits you can get from Mu Group. Qiqi is an innocent child. How could she be so thoughtful? Not necessarily. Sheng Xiao smiled meaningfully at her. Over the years, Mu Qiqi remembered every detail of what the Mu family had done to her. Since they would no longer be family in the future, why couldn't she ask for something from them? Qiqi. Aunt, do you remember Mu Tangshue's celebration a few days ago? Grandpa gave Mu Tangxue 5% of Mu Group's shares. So? Su Zipei asked Mu Qiqi. I just want what belongs to me, Mu Qiqi answered Su Zipei. Actually, Mu Qiqi had this idea because she was with Sheng Xiao now. She might not have any conflict with the Sheng family in the future. But if her aunt stayed with her, the Sheng family would definitely make things difficult for her aunt. So, it was better to fight for something for her aunt. No matter if she wanted to be with Lu Wenhua or something else, at least, she did not have nothing. Sheng Xiao was enough for her. But she could not live without her aunt. Since you think so, I'll reply to your grandpa and arrange a time to meet him. Thank you, Aunt, Mu Qiqi said to Su Zipei. Su Zipei glanced at Mu Qiqi. Suddenly, she felt that the child's way of thinking had changed. Of course, she knew what had caused Mu Qiqi's change. It was the exchange of exam papers. Mu Qiqi seemed to have grown up overnight. Her way of thinking had matured a lot. She also gained some ambition. He had never thought about it before, but now that he had found the right opportunity, he had to seize it. Gradually, he became like Sheng Xiao in his bones, fierceness. At night, Mu Qiqi told Su Zipei about her thoughts. She still chose to enter the forensic science faculty. She also told her that she would live in the dormitory when she went to university. Are you telling me this because you are afraid that I will be bored at home? I have something to do too. Su Zipei said. Don't worry. I have my own plans for you to go to university. Are you really not going to consider Uncle Lu? Who told you about him? Su Zipei's expression became unnatural. But just as Mu Qiqi expected, Su Zipei did not reject Lu Wenhua as much as before. But Mu Qiqi smiled and did not expose her. At 11:00 at night, Mu Qiqi went out without telling Su Zipei. When she followed Sheng Xiao to the new house, she saw a new dress hanging in the bedroom. It was white and it matched her skin very well. It's a brand under Huang Yao. They released the latest style this year. I think it's not bad, so I brought it for you. Mu Qiqi hugged Xing Xiao. She was very happy. I was just thinking about what to wear when I go to the Mu family tomorrow. You prepared it for me. Xiao Xiao, you must be a parasite in my stomach. If it's less than 10% of the shares, we can forget about the conditions. Also, since you are going to the Mu family, you must greet the Mu Tangxue. Bring 4 lawyers with you. So many lawyers? Mu Qiqi asked with a smile. Don't you know who you are dealing with? Xing Xiao asked her. But at that moment, Mu Qiqi suddenly hooked her arms around Xing Xiao's neck. She kissed him so that he could not speak. Xing Xiao reacted and hooked his arms around Mu Qiqi's waist. He pressed her against him. What are you playing at now? I am going to be a university student soon. I am not young anymore, am I? Do you know what to do? Xing Xiao rubbed her waist and asked her seductively. Do you know? Chapter 91. Do you think I'm not qualified? Mu Qiqi stopped Xing Xiao and asked. You are the only qualified person in the whole world. What else do you want? Xing Xiao pushed her onto the big bed. Sleep. I really have something to do. Mu Qiqi was relieved. She nodded and went into the bathroom to wash up. When she was done and returned to the bedroom, Xing Xiao was no longer there. If he had something to do, why did he keep her in the new house instead of sending her back? It was because Xing Xiao believed that she was the mistress of the house. If the mistress did not stay in the house, where should she stay? As for what Xing Xiao said, it was because Jing Yun had called him because of Mama Xing's sudden attack. So, he had to go to another place first. Mama Xing looked around the house that she had prepared for Xing Xiao. She saw traces of Xing Xiao's life everywhere and asked Jing Yun, does young master bring women back usually? Occasionally. Jing Yun answered. Mama Xing was satisfied with the answer. Otherwise, what was Xing Xiao's intention to move out? What kind of people? Young ladies or those? I've only met them once. Moreover, young master did not allow me to investigate their identities. Jing Yun answered honestly. Madam, you know young master's temper. I can't interfere with his private affairs. All right. Everyone knows what he is like. It's fine as long as he has women. He promised me to get married in 2 years. I want to see what kind of surprise he will bring back then. As they talked, Xing Xiao drove to the villa. He was surprised to see Mama Xing at home. Why are you here, Mom? Of course I'm here to see how exciting Xing Xiao's life is. Mama Xing snorted. You can't stay at home anymore after moving out. I can't see you, so of course I have to come here myself. You see me now? Xing Xiao asked with a chuckle. I'm relieved to have Jing Yun by your side. Remember what you promised me. With that, Mama Xing had an idea of Xing Xiao's private life. She was about to leave. Come and see your mother when you have time. I know. Then, Mama Xing drove away. Xing Xiao looked at Jing Yun and asked, what did you ask? Were there any women coming in and out? What kind of women were they? Jing Yun replied. Xing Xiao snorted coldly. The entire Xing family was probably watching his private life. Young master, you can't keep hiding like this. Sooner or later, you'll have to face it. That's my business. So, she's the only one? Jing Yun asked tentatively. Jing Yun, one day, when you fall in love with someone, you will understand how I feel. Xing Xiao did not explain much, and drove back to Mu Qiqi's side half an hour after Mama Xing returned home. When he turned on the lights and saw Mu Qiqi sleeping soundly on the big bed, he felt very calm. In her dreams, Mu Qiqi felt someone carrying her. Her body was light as a feather, but she could not open her eyes. The next morning, the Mu family drove to the little mansion to pick Muchichi up. Muchichi was wearing her cream-colored chiffon dress. She was accompanied by 4 lawyers. They arrived at the Mu family's house. Papa Mu and Grandpa Mu did not expect Muchichi to bring so many lawyers with her. Naturally, they were not happy about it. Chichi, can't you just treat it as a casual chat between family members? Do you still have the mood to chat with Mu group in such a situation, Mr. Mu? Muchichi asked Papa Mu in return. I believe I've seen through both of you after all these years in the Mu family. That's why I'll skip the pompous talk and get straight to the point. Are you going to hide anything from me? Papa Mu and Grandpa Mu did not expect Muchichi to be so sharp-tongued. They really had to look at her in a different light. What do you want in order to let Mu group go? It's your mother and Shui, who are in charge of the exchange of exam papers. It has nothing to do with Mu group. On the day of the celebration party, I saw that Mu Tangxue had brought you a lot of glory. Why are you trying to distance yourself from her now? Tell me what you want, Papa Mu said directly. 10% of Mu group's shares. As long as you agree, I will let Mu group go and put in a good word for Mu group. Are you dreaming? Grandpa Mu shouted angrily. Do you know how much 10% is? Grandpa gave Mu Tangxue 5% of the shares on the day of the celebration party. Why is it a dream for me? Muchichi asked Grandpa Mu. Are you still going to be biased at such a time? I don't care if you believe me or not. I didn't give Grandma too much medicine. Mu Tangxue is so good at acting. Don't you know what's going on? Muchichi said stubbornly. Of course, I will find the evidence whether you believe me or not. Chichi, I can give you the shares of Mu group. But, isn't it too much to ask for 10%? Papa Mu tried to negotiate with Muchichi. I only have 12% of the shares. Do you want 10%? Don't you think that's too much? I'm just giving you a suggestion. Of course, you can choose not to come to me. Chichi, who taught you to be so greedy? Grandpa Mu was very interested in the person behind Muchichi. Is that French tycoon teaching others to fight for their property? I'm sorry, but that French tycoon is your enemy. He is Xing Xiao. You just need to answer me whether you agree or not. Or do you want to continue to see if you can endure it? Papa Mu was very angry. But, Muchichi brought 4 lawyers with her. He did not dare to do anything. Give us 2 days to think about it, Papa Mu said to Muchichi. I will give you an answer after 2 days. And, I have another condition. Muchichi's eyes were sneaking a peek at Mu Tangshue's room as she spoke. I want to meet my twin sister. In her room, Papa Mu answered impatiently. But, Grandpa Mu still believed what he saw and heard with his own ears. He had already sentenced Muchichi to death in his heart. It was the stubbornness of an old man. The negotiations were soon over, and Muchichi led her lawyer to the door of the room she had not seen for a long time. It was Mu Tangshue's room right across from it. Papa Mu was anxious and angry when he saw Muchichi walking out of the study. Dad, what should we do now? 10%. She wants to take 10%. Why would an 18-year-old girl want the shares? Could it be that the person behind her, or Su Zipei, is plotting against Mu Group? I would rather die than agree to it. Then, just wait and see. The shares of Mu Group will fall even more when her results are out. Grandpa Mu snorted. Also, my daughter-in-law will sue you for divorce when she comes out. That was one disaster after another for Papa Mu. At that moment, Muchichi had reached Mu Tangshue's room. Didn't Mu Tangxue like to fight? Chapter 92. There was only a wall separating them, but the difference in treatment between the 2 sisters was like the difference between clouds and mud. In the past, Muchichi would not simply enter Mu Tangshue's room. First, she was worried that she would be the scapegoat for her, and second, she was afraid that she would be framed. However, Mu Tongshue's room had a lot of good stuff. She would be lying if she said she was not envious. However, today, the two of them had finally experienced an earth-shattering change. It was almost impossible for Mu Tongxue to make a name for herself in Jianchuan now, wasn't it? With that thought, Mu Qiqi pushed open the door of Mu Tongshue's room and saw the girl sitting by the bed. Her hair was disheveled, her face pale, and her eyes empty. So, this was the terrifying face of a defeated person. Mu Tongxue heard the door open and saw Mu Qiqi standing in front of it. The two sisters looked very similar, but looking at them now, they didn't seem to have anything in common. "Sister, are you here to kick me when I'm down?" Mu Qiqi walked into the room when she heard Mu Tongshue's question. Then, she glanced at her room and asked calmly, "Do you know how envious I was of having so many good things in your room that I don't have? Sister, you have been my scapegoat since you were young. That's why you couldn't get any love from your family. I thought that this situation would last for the rest of my life, and that I would be protected by you for the rest of my life. But where did I go wrong? You framed me before, including what happened to Grandma, and even when I was chased out of the Mu family, but I didn't hate you that much until you exchanged my exam papers." Mu Qiqi said to Mu Tongxue. "Do you know? When you took my score and flaunted it everywhere, I really wanted to strangle you to death. But now you've won. I have nothing, and I'm locked in my room by Dad. What else do you want from me? Are you satisfied with me?" Mu Qiqi lowered her head to look at Mu Tongxue and asked seriously. "No. So, you're just lucky now. We're just having a temporary truce. Do you think I'll let you go so easily? That's impossible. Elder sister, we've already fought to this extent. What other leeway is there? Your mommy chose me, your father hates you to the core, your grandpa doesn't care about you, and you're still carrying the punishment from the education department. What else do you have to fight with me?" Mu Tongxue laughed at Mu Qiqi's words, even tearing up. "Sister, I'm really not used to such scheming words coming from your mouth. The man behind you must have given you a lot of ideas, right? Although I can't find anything now, there will be a day when you give yourself away. When that time comes, you and that man of yours will definitely be turned into ashes by me. You'll never have that chance. Don't forget, you're in the light now, and I'm in the dark. It's too easy to touch you." The conversation between the two sisters did not sound like something a pair of 18-year-old twins would say. It sounded more like a game between adults. Of course, Mu Qiqi had long since stopped treating herself and Mu Tongxue as little girls. Ever since the day she found out that her test papers had been switched. Is that so? Let's wait and see. Then, Mu Qiqi left Mu Tongshue's room. She was sure that Mu Tongxue still had the courage to fight even if she had nothing now. Perhaps Mu Tongshue's nature meant that they could only be enemies. They could never be sisters. Therefore, before she left the Mu family, Mu Qiqi told Papa Mu, "You should keep a close eye on Mu Tongxue, Mr. Mu. Otherwise, she wouldn't be content." Then, Mu Qiqi and the lawyer returned to the small mansion. Papa Mu was furious. Now, the whole family was counting on Mu Qiqi to put in a good word for the Mu family. But Mu Tongxue was still stirring up trouble. When Mu Qiqi left, Papa Mu quickly went to Mu Tongshue's room, grabbed her hair and gave her a tight slap. "Do you believe that I'll strangle you to death?" Mu Tongxue had been tormented by Papa Mu for the past few days. She shuddered when she saw his ferocious face. When they returned to the small mansion, Mu Qiqi told Su Zipei about her negotiations with the Mu family. Su Zipei could not help shaking her head and sighing after listening to Mu Qiqi's description. There's really nothing good in the Mu family. How's Mu Tongxue doing now? She still wouldn't admit defeat. That's why I deliberately reminded the Mu family to be careful of Mu Tongxue when we left. That's why she couldn't avoid a beating. Mu Qiqi answered Su Zipei. Aunt Zipei, even so, I still haven't vented my anger enough. Su Zipei stroked Mu Qiqi's hair and comforted her. You have everything now. You don't have to be afraid of that. Moreover, we still have a long way to go. The Mu family was still struggling on the brink of death. They would definitely be dealt a second blow once her results were out. It all depended on whether the Mu family was willing to part with the 10% of the shares. Chi-Chi, I see that you've become a lot more depressed recently. You're not as happy as before. The Mu family is suffering now. You could go to Qianqian or some other friends to relax. I'm fine, Aunt Zipe. Mu Chi-Chi smiled. I have a bright future now. Don't worry, I won't sulk over the scum of the Mu family. It's all over now. That's good. Leave your mother's matter to me. Don't worry. Mu Chi-Chi hugged Su Zipe and acted coquettishly in her arms just like before. Aunt Zipe, thank goodness you're here. It's young Master Sheng who helped you. You should thank him. With that, Su Zipe returned the recording pen to Mu Chi-Chi. Young Master Sheng gave it to you. Keep it for self-defense. It was the first gift Xing Xiao gave her, which was why she cherished it. Although she had not used the pen yet, Mu Chi-Chi still took it back because it meant a lot to her. All right. You must be tired. Go and rest. Su Zipe could not help coughing when she said that. Mu Chi-Chi noticed it immediately. Aunt Zipe, do you have a cold? It's just a cough. I'll be fine after taking some medicine. Chapter 93. Lu Wenhua was supposed to come over in the afternoon. But Su Zipe was afraid that he would know that she was sick, so she told him that she was going out. Late at night, when Lu Wenhua was calling Su Zipe, he heard her coughing. So, he was worried and rushed to the villa. Su Zipe was shocked when she saw that. Luckily, Chi-Chi is asleep. Otherwise, if you stay in the mansion so late at night, people will gossip about you. Su Zipe was shocked. You have a fever. I will take care of you and then I will leave. Lu Wenhua smiled. Su Zipe could not stop him. She could only let him do whatever he wanted. But, Su Zipe's fever only subsided at around 11 o'clock. Lu Wenhua packed his things and was about to leave. But, he heard Mu Chi-Chi coming down the stairs quietly. Then, Mu Chi-Chi went out. Lu Wenhua followed behind her. He saw her getting into Xing Zhao's car with his own eyes. Lu Wenhua was shocked when he saw that. Because of Mu Chi-Chi's diary, the whole school knew about it. But, it was just a little girl's thought. He did not care about it. But, if she went out with Xing Xiao, it would be different. Or perhaps, the two of them had matters to attend to, and he was overthinking things. But, no matter what, he would not be able to rest in peace if he did not get the answer. After all, he had treated Mu Chi-Chi and Su Zipe as his family. When they arrived at the new house, Mu Chi-Chi told Xing Xiao everything that happened in the Mu family, including the conditions she proposed to the Mu family. Xing Xiao saw that Mu Chi-Chi was fearless even when facing the Xing family. He could not help but lift Mu Chi-Chi's chin. He looked into her eyes and said, I believe that you have grown up this time. After all, you are much bolder than before. Xiao Xiao. Do you think the Mu family will agree to it? Mu Chi-Chi is in trouble now. The other brothers of the Mu family will not just sit and watch. After Mama Mu is released from the police station, she will ask for a divorce. He will agree to it in order to calm Mu group down as soon as possible. I am relieved. I just want to get some benefits for Aunt Zipe. Why don't you get some benefits for yourself? I have you. I have everything. I don't need anything else. Mu Chi-Chi looked at him seriously. Am I right? Xing Xiao chuckled and tapped her head. Aren't you going to take a shower? I'm over there. I've showered. Mu Chi-Chi rubbed her head and said, I'll go get the water for you. When Xing Xiao saw Mu Chi-Chi turn around, he thought about how they had never gone to the last step even though there had been many things that had happened before. Both of them did not have such thoughts. But now that things had finally stabilized and they had entered the stage of cohabitation, he did not have to worry so much anymore. That was why he was wrapped in a towel when he came out of the bathroom. His bronze-colored skin was still dripping with water droplets. His body was muscular and sexy, especially his slender thighs. To Muchichi, not a single part of his body was not seductive. So she quickly closed her eyes. "Why didn't you put on your clothes today?" Xing Xiao walked up to Muchichi and pushed her down on the bed. He pressed himself against her and asked in an extremely sexy voice, "What do you think?" "Of course I'm going to do you." Muchichi suddenly tensed up. "But you're so sudden." I'm not prepared for anything." As Muchichi spoke, Xing Xiao had already pulled open the drawer of the bedside table, where there were all sorts of condoms. "Did you think Jing Yun wouldn't prepare something like this for me?" Muchichi's eyes widened. Muchichi wanted to say something, but Xing Xiao had already lifted her pajamas. "Little bastard, I want you." With that, Xing Xiao unbuttoned Muchichi's pajamas and leaned over to kiss her. This kiss was different from before. Muchichi was both looking forward to it and afraid. She had thought about it many times. But she never thought that it would happen today. Tonight, Muchichi hooked her arms around Xing Xiao's neck. Her body could not help but cooperate. It was their first time and they did not have much experience. They were just relying on instinct. Muchichi was lost in Xing Xiao's perfect body. Every muscle on his body was smooth and strong to the touch. But Xing Xiao's experience was not so good. "Do you really think everything is small when I call you little thing? Only your waist is passable on your whole body." Muchichi was very shy. She could not help but look for something to hide from Xing Xiao's gaze. But Xing Xiao simply threw the thin blanket away. "I'll naturally get someone to help you with your body now." Xiao Xiao, the man's kiss, the man's sweat, the unbearably intimate atmosphere and the already messy bed were all stimulating Muchichi's nerves. She did not even know when Xing Xiao opened the drawer, or when he was ready to take her. Muchichi looked at Xing Xiao. There was no sign of retreat in her eyes either. She was very determined. She wanted all of this man, a complete everything. Then, Muchichi felt pain. It was the pain of being stretched and torn apart. She could not help resisting. "Xiao Xiao, it hurts. It really hurts." Xing Xiao reached out to hold Muchichi but did not continue. He saw that Muchichi's face was pale from the pain, and he did not dare to move. After all, it was like taking Muchichi's life when he penetrated just a little. If he really disregarded everything and forced himself, Muchichi would not be able to get out of bed for a long time. He still had to feel sorry for his little thing. So, he carried Muchichi into the bathroom and put her in the warm bathtub. Muchichi sobered up a little from the pain. She buried her head in Xing Xiao's chest and paused for a moment. Then, she said hoarsely, "Xiao Xiao, why don't we, no?" Xing Xiao answered directly. "We'll talk about it when you're better." "But, that pain is unavoidable." "Close your eyes," Xing Xiao ordered domineeringly. Muchichi did not dare to move and could only close her eyes. Even so, she could feel Xing Xiao's hands cleaning her body. Then, the two lay on the messy bed. The ambiguous atmosphere had yet to disperse, and Muchichi leaned into Xing Xiao's arms. She could not help asking, "Xiao Xiao, do we, sleep?" Xing Xiao said quietly. "Are you disappointed?" At that, Xing Xiao reached over with one long leg and pressed it over Muchichi. "You're still not mature enough. It's normal that you can't tolerate me." You're tuning into the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.